Under the giant crystal dome of the Void auction house, there was a huge crowd, and the projections of light and shadow from hundreds of millions of players intertwined into a gorgeous galaxy. The air was filled with the pungent burnt aroma of metal and magic crystals. The bidding bell rang like thunder, and every time the hammer fell, the ground trembled slightly. On the screen, the image of the rare artifact key of the Void slowly rotates. The body of the pitch-black key is wrapped around endless Void cracks, and the attribute panel flashes breathtaking data attack plus 50,000, Void penetration 99%, all attributes skyrocketed by 300%, the only effect Void Master, ignores level suppression, and the chance of instantly killing the boss is plus 80%. This is fucking legendary. The starting price is 50 million gold coins. Who dares to touch it? An individual player covered in bronze equipment widened his eyes, drooled, and his voice trembled in the noise. Passers-by and players swarmed around, and the chat channel screen was like an avalanche. Passenger, damn it, if this key were mine, I could defeat 1,000 people in a national war and become a god directly. Passenger B, dream on, the first shot will be enough to fill your liver for a year. I heard that the rich second generation of Chu Tian was eyeing him, and his family was actually throwing money at him like water. Su Wan's cold face cut through the crowd like a sharp sword. She was dressed in a silver-white swordsman's robe, with a sword on her waist. The golden light of her ID Frostblade Queen shone behind her, and the .99 full-level mark on her left stung countless eyes. Her god-level operation is famous all over the server, and she has defeated countless dungeon kings. But at this moment the chat channel was flooded with ridicule. Hey, isn't this the Frostblade Queen? What kind of top-notch artifact does a woman play? Go home and slay mobs. An assassin player wearing a gorgeous purple robe had a weird look, which caused a burst of laughter. His ID is Shadowblade Fanatic, the loser of the Chu Tian guild. He is at full level but his equipment is only epic level, and he is so jealous that his face turns green. Su Wan frowned slightly and locked her eyes on the bidding table. Key to the Void. She waited for 3 months for this key that could open the secret copy. A guild war is about to break out, and she needs it to reverse her disadvantage. But that guy from Chu Tian has already bid 60 million. His ID Sky Overlord flashes domineeringly on the panel, behind which are the resources piled up by the top 10 guilds in the server, Sky League. 70 million. The bidding bell rang again, and Chu Tian's voice came from the VIP box, through the amplification of the audience, with a strong sense of ridicule. Queen Frostblade, stop being so strong. This artifact is not something that a single person like you can control alone. Save some gold coins and buy a set of underwear. Haha. The whole audience burst into laughter. Passers-by and players whispered, looking at Su Wan like knives. Passenger C. The queen is about to lose her temper. Chu Tian is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and the reality is that there is unlimited Krypton gold. Shadowblade Fanatic. A woman is a woman. Why are you pretending to be an expert? The last dungeon wasn't turned into a dog by our boss. Su Wan's delicate hands clenched the hilt of the sword slightly, her cold eyes swept over the jeering crowd, and her heart became angry. Her dashboard balance. 120 million gold. It took half a year of liver copies, selling materials, and even funding from her offline best friend Lin Yin. But now the eyes of the entire server were like thousands of arrows piercing her heart. She felt like she had been stripped naked and thrown onto the arena, and her despair was swallowing her will like a crack in the void. 80 million. Her cold voice sounded, overcoming the noise, and the whole place fell silent. Chu Tian laughed. 90 million. Little girl, admit defeat. Your team was trampled to pieces by our Sky Alliance in the last national war. Equipping this artifact can't save you. Ridicule poured down like a torrential rain. Passers-by and players shook their heads and sighed, and some even placed bets on when Su Wan would leave the game. Su Wan gritted her teeth, and the humiliation of being surrounded and suppressed by guilds flashed through her mind countless times. Last month, Lu Ting's ally guild wanted to recruit her to join the gang. After she refused, Chu Tian blocked the door of the dungeon and laughed at her as a lonely ghost. Now this key is her only chance to turn over. 100 million. Su Wan's bid exploded like thunder, and the whole place was silent. The bidding clock hammered down with a clang, and a system announcement popped up in big red letters across the server. System announcement. The player Queen of the Frostblade bought the legendary artifact Key of the Void for 100 million gold coins. The highest price in the history of the entire server. What? 100 million? Where did she get the money? The Shadow Blade fanatic's eyes were as wide as bells. His voice trembled as if he was being shocked by electricity, and his legs were so weak that he almost knelt down. The mouths of passers-by and players around were opened in an O shape. Some were rubbing their eyes, some were taking crazy screenshots, and the chat channel exploded instantly. Passenger. Damn it. 100 million gold coins. Is this queen an invisible rich man? Chu Tian's face turned green. Passengery. Looking at Chu Tian's expression, my lungs are about to explode. The Sky Alliance was slapped in the face. Chu Tian rushed out of the box, his handsome face twisted into a ghost, and his blood-red eyes stared at Su Wan. You bitch, where did you steal the money from? I will remember you. The Sky Alliance will not let you go. Su Wan ignored his roar and walked straight to the reception desk. Equip the Key of the Void successfully. Attack speed plus 999%. Critical hit rate 200%. Void wings unlocked. Flying speed 5 times. Invisible for 30 seconds. All attributes are off the charts. Current combat power value. 999,999. She waved lightly, and the key turned into black wings and wrapped around her body. The cracks in the void around her body twisted, and the air made a sizzling, tearing sound. Passerby players gasped and someone screamed. The combat power is 999,999. The full-level boss is only 500,000. Is she cheating? Monster. This female swordsman is a monster. A tank player's knees softened and he muttered on his knees, his virtual shirt soaked with sweat. The Shadow Blade fanatic's face turned pale, and he took 3 steps back, his teeth chattering. Boss. We are not opponents. Channels across the server flooded the screen like a tsunami, with countless players paying homage and leaving messages. Players in all servers. The goddess is awesome. 100 million shots of artifact. Chu Tian, get out. Su Wan felt the power of void surging in her body, raised the corner of her mouth slightly, and was about to leave, when her vision suddenly went dark. The system's hidden prompts appeared like blood-red ghosts, visible only to her. Warning. Server core vulnerability triggered. The Key of the Void senses that the core of collapse, is about to explode. The risk of permanent deletion of data in the entire server is 99.9%. Countdown, 72 hours. To crack it, you need to go deep into the Void Forbidden Zone copy and defeat the Guardian boss. Single-player challenge, death means full server GG. Su Wan's heart shrank sharply, and cold beads of sweat slid down her forehead. 72 hours? Destruction of data of hundreds of millions of players across the server? She looked around. The excited passers-by were still screaming in admiration. Chu Tian gritted his teeth in the distance, preparing to summon the guild to surround him. But no one knows that this artifact is not a glory, but a curse. She took a deep breath. The wings of the void trembled slightly. The invisibility effect was activated, and the figure disappeared like smoke. Her ID in the chat channel was grayed out, and the whole server was talking about it. Where is the queen? Chu Tian is going to take revenge. Su Wan teleported outside the auction house, and the wind and sand of the deserted void continent hit her face, mixed with the roar of distant copies. She opened her friend list and saw that Luo Lizhi was online, but there was no response when sending messages. Lu Ting's guild was busy with the national war, and there was no news from Lin Yan's intelligence network. Will she have to bear this crisis alone? In the distance, the 1,000-man cavalry team of the Sky Alliance has locked onto her traces, and Chu Tian's roar echoed. Catch her! Grab the artifact! At the entrance to the Void Forbidden Zone, dark cracks spit out purple electricity, and the countdown ticks in the upper right corner of the field of vision. 71 hours 59 minutes and 45 seconds. Su Wan held the key tightly, feeling unprecedented despair in her heart alone. Against the collapse of the entire server? Can she do it? The wind and sand roared like wild beasts, sweeping across the barren edge of the void continent. The dark cracks at the entrance to the Void Forbidden Zone swallowed purple arcs of electricity, emitting a harsh scream that tore the air. Su Wan's void wings trembled slightly, and the invisibility effect was only 15 seconds left. Her heartbeat was roaring like a war drum, and the countdown flashed red in the upper right corner of her vision. 71 hours 59 minutes and 32 seconds. On the distant horizon, Chu Tian's 1,000-man cavalry team was billowing with dust and smoke. Horse hooves were trampling the earth like thunder. The leading sky overlord ID's golden light was dazzling, and the Shadow Blade fanatics followed closely on horseback, their faces full of twisted malice. Damn it, she's invisible? The whole team spread out to search. The intelligence network focused on her ID, grabbed the key to the void, and I chopped her up with my own hands. Chu Tian's roar echoed through the voice channel throughout the Sky League. Passers-by players looked sideways after hearing this, and some people whispered, "Young Master Chu is crazy. Thousands of people are chasing a female swordsman? That artifact is worth 100 million. Su Wan gritted her teeth, flapped her wings fiercely, and ripped apart the wind curtain at 5 times the flying speed. She dived towards the edge of the novice area, where low-level players gathered, and the chaotic crowd could cover her tracks. The moment her invisibility was lifted, her figure flashed like a ghost, raising a cloud of dust when she landed. The nearby novice players stared wide-eyed, and the novices in novice clothes rubbed their eyes and screamed, "Fuck! That's the Frostblade Queen. Why did she come to the novice area? 999999 combat power. My panel is only 1,000, she can kill me at a glance." A round-faced mage rookie knelt on his knees, his voice trembling like a candle in the wind. Goddess, your combat power is incredible, and the boss in the novice area is only 50,000. Why are you here? Chu Tian's 1,000-man team is chasing you? Oh my god, it's cold for us to be caught in the middle. Su Wan had no time to pay attention, and despair surged in her mind. Challenge the collapse core alone? Chu Tian still persists and destroys all server data. How can she handle it alone? She eagerly opened her friend list, her fingers flying. Luo Lizhi.
Urgent.
Server bug. Key to the void senses the core of collapse. 72 hours for all servers. Come back quickly. 3 seconds after the message was sent, Luo Lizhi's profile picture lit up, and the mysterious mage ID shadow phantom flashed. Her voice was like a ghostly wind whispering with a hint of surprise. Sister Wan? What bug? There is no movement in the server-wide announcement. I will analyze the attributes of the artifact immediately. Wait for me to teleport. In the void, a silver-blue magic circle exploded, and Luo Lizhi appeared. A purple gauze robe was ethereal, the staff in his hand was wrapped with star threads, and the full level 99 mark flickered with light. She glanced at the cracks in the void around Su Wan's body, and her pupils shrank suddenly. This key to the void? Combat power 999,999. Sister Wan, you took the legendary level and all attributes increased by 300%? The eyes of these rookies in the novice area are stunned. Look at them shaking into sieves. The surrounding novice players were really upset. A novice archer took 3 steps back, and there was a crisp sound of the bowstring breaking. Shadow Phantom? The best resourceful mage in the server. Are they joining forces? Chu Tian wants G. But why are the goddesses coming to the novice area? We fish like us don't deserve to breathe. Su Wan took a deep breath and handed out the key to the void. As the black light suffocated, the projection of the artifact panel unfolded. Attack plus 50,000, void penetration 99%, and the only effect Void Master flashed. Luo Lizhi tapped the staff lightly, and the secret analysis technique was activated. Blue light penetrated the key like silk thread, and the air was filled with the smell of burning magical ozone. Ding! The system hidden prompt pops up, visible only to 2 people. Analysis completed. The key of the void embeds the coordinates of the source of the bug, the secret copy of the void fissure. The entrance is at the low-level rift at the edge of the novice area. You need to defeat the Guardian to collect map fragments. Single-player mode, but temporary squads can assist in infiltration. Warning: Chu Tian Guild Intelligence Network has locked the artifact fluctuation. Luo Lizhi took a breath of cold air, her delicate hands trembling. Sister Wan, this is a server core vulnerability. Billions of data in the entire server will be permanently deleted? We have to go in immediately. But Chu Tian's mad dog, The 1,000-man team will arrive in seconds. Su Wan nodded and the friend list flashed again in her field of vision. Lin Yin is online. The assassin mark of her offline best friend's ID Shadowblade Yen was red. And she sent a barrage of messages. 1-1. The intelligence network is fully opened. Thousands of Chu Tian guild cavalry have approached the southeast of the novice area. The Shadowblade fanatics are leading 50 elite assassins to surround them. The fluctuation of your artifact is too strong, and even your invisibility cannot block detection. I'm nearby, teleport to join us. Before he finished speaking, a blood shadow flashed and Lin Yin appeared. A tight-fitting black leather assassin suit, a dagger spitting cold light, a full level of 99, and agility off the charts. She scanned the surrounding novice players and raised her lips slightly. Girlfriends, the intelligence is confirmed. Chu Tian personally leads the main force and vows to seize the artifact. These rookies are lax, shut up. Otherwise, my intelligence network will blackmail your whole family. The novice players were scared to death. And a tank rookie stammered. Shadowblade Yenner? Queen of Intelligence. We didn't see anything. The goddesses are awesome, with 999,999 combat power. They can crush us trash. Another female priest squatted on the ground with her head in her hands, crying with trembling. Don't kill us. Our fan club is sworn to keep it secret. Su Wan felt slightly relieved, and a temporary team of 3 people was formed instantly. Frostblade Queen, Captain, Shadow Phantom and Shadowblade Yenner. Ding dang on the team channel. Total team combat power. 1,500,000. Stealth linkage unlocked. She quickly opened the skill tree and injected residual experience. The accumulation of half a year of liver copies surged, and the sword skill tree was upgraded. Sword skill tree upgrade. Frostblade Storm LV. Maximum +1, attack speed +20%, total attack speed 1099%, critical hit damage +15%, total critical hit 215%, newly unlocked Void Sword Shadow. Summon 10 Sword Shadow clones, lasting 30 seconds. Combat power increased slightly. 1,050,000. Luo Lizhi's eyes widened and her voice trembled. Sister Wan, can your sword skill tree still rise? Void Sword Shadow? This value. The boss will kill himself when he sees it. These passers-by in the novice area are so jealous that they are green in the face. Indeed, the surrounding rookie players exploded in whispers, and some people took crazy screenshots. The Frostblade Queen's sword skills are off the charts. We only reach level 50 in a year, but she can just level up and gain magical skills? It's not fair. But she's so handsome. Ima fun. Lin Yin shouted. Don't waste time. Luo Li is covering the entrance to the southeast rift. Luo Li waved her staff, and the secret spell Phantom Mist exploded. The gray mist spread hundreds of meters like a living thing, swallowing up the field of vision, mixed with the pungent smell of sulfur. Novice players were groping in the fog, screaming. What's in the fog? The goddesses have disappeared? Chu Tian is coming to massacre the area. The 3 of them disappeared into the fog and sneaked to the edge of the novice area. The entrance to the fissure is hidden under the cliff. Purple electricity explodes, and low-level void guards roam. Left. 20 Twisted Ghost. Combat power 5,000. Claws dripping with corrosive venom. And the stench fills the sky. 3 guards sneak attack. Su Wan whispered, fanning her wings slightly, becoming invisible for 30 seconds and resetting. She flashed forward like a ghost and slashed out with a frost blade storm. The sword light tore through the fog, and the afterimages with an attack speed of 1099% were like a torrential downpour. Puffed sounded continuously, and the health bars of the 3 guards were instantly empty. Kill X3 void guards and get X3 hidden map fragments. The synthesis progress is 30%. Experience plus 3,000 meaningless. Lin Yin used her dagger to make up for it, and her figure was like lightning with 999 agility. I got the fragments. Wan is a master at maneuvering, with an attack speed of over 1,000, and the guards didn't even react. Luo Li supported the fog with admiration in her eyes. Looking from the side, these fragments are shining with a bug sheen, pointing straight into the depths of the void cracks. Sister Wan, your combat power is 1,050,000. You can challenge the boss alone. But despair persists when synthesizing map fragments, the system prompts blood red. Fragments resonate, the entrance guard boss awakens. Left point 80 Void Devourer. Combat power 150,000, summons void tentacles swallowing in range. The earth trembles violently. The cliff collapsed, the giant beast roared like thunder, and the void devourer rose up. 100-meter-long body with black scales wrapped around purple lightning, a huge mouth swallowing the void vortex, corrosive acid hissing on the ground, and the air was instantly smelly and pungent. The boss's blood-red eyes locked on the three people in the fog, his tentacles whipped out like whips, and the wind pressure knocked away nearby novice players. Ruhe, Intruder, die. The boss's voice shocked the soul. Passers-by in the novice area saw it from a distance and ran away screaming. Boss! Left point 80 Devourer. How did you spawn this monster in the novice area? Are the Frostblade Queen and the others in there? It's over, it's over. Luo Lizhi's face turned pale and her staff trembled. With a combat power of 150,000, tentacle AoE, our team can't handle it. Lin Yian clenched her dagger tightly and sweat dropped. The information is wrong, this boss is hidden. Sister Wan, retreat. A cold light burst out in Su Wan's eyes, and the suppressed despair in her heart turned into murderous intent. Chu Tian hasn't arrived yet. Kill this beast first. But the dust and smoke rose again in the distance, and Chu Tian's 1,000 cavalrymen came to attack. The Shadow Blade fanatics and their elite assassins circled back, forming a pincer attack. Haha! Queen of Frostblade, the key to the void is mine. Chu Tian laughed wildly. Cavalry spears stood in a row, metal collided with a sonorous sound, and the Sky Alliance battle flags hunted. The Shadow Blade fanatics' eyes were blood red. Boss! They are stuck by the boss, grab the artifact. The novice players watched from a distance, their mouths opened in an O shape. Planzer attack? 3 queens versus 1,000 people plus the boss? This wave of live broadcast across the server. Will the goddess fall? An old player shook his head and sighed. No matter how high the combat power is, I can't withstand the sea of people plus the devourer. I am desperate. Su Wan's hand holding the sword had veins popping out, and the black wings of the key to the void flapped wildly. The combat power of 1,050,000 burned her heart. She roared. Luo Lizhi, control the field. Yenner, stab the back of the heart. This boss and Chu Tian. Step on it together. But the tentacles had already whipped, and the ground opened into a void abyss, swallowing everything. The 3 figures fell in, and the crisis was imminent. The abyss of the void opened its mouth like a hungry beast. The dark vortex swallowed up the light. The corrosive acid hissed and evaporated, and the fishy smell penetrated the nose. Su Wan and the 3 figures fell, and the wind pressure was like thousands of needles piercing the bones. The boss void devourer's tentacles were densely covered with whip shadows, and they hit the cliff with rubble and scattered rocks with a boom. The ground cracked into a 10-meter abyss, and purple electricity exploded in the air. Passerby players in the novice area watched from a distance, their faces pale, and someone screamed, "It's over! The Frostblade Queen has fallen into the abyss, the Devourer's tentacle AoE has no answer, and the 1,000 cavalry will attack again, and the 3 of them will be wiped out." Luo Lizhi screamed, "Sister Wan, be careful." Lin Yian's dagger flew, Chu Tian's gun blasted, a melee broke out in the audience, and the countdown to collapse ticked. 71 hours 58 minutes and 10 seconds. Su Wan's sword shadow clone was unlocked, and 10 afterimages appeared at once, but the boss's huge mouth opened, and the vortex of the void sucked like a powerful force. Despair returned to her heart. This time, are all of them really going to be buried with her? Chu Tian galloped on his horse, and the metal horse's hooves trampled on her ears with a clanging sound. The Shadow Blade fanatics and the elite assassins had surrounded them. He grinned and shouted, "We have obtained the artifact. Shadowblade, lock her body and blast it. The entire Sky Alliance army is pressing on her." Bloodbath in the novice area. The Shadowblade fanatic's dagger flashed with cold light, and he, who had a max-level assassin's agility of 888, licked his lips. "Boss, the intelligence shows that her combat power is only 1.05 million. Boss can hold her down. We will be 50 elites in seconds." Luo Lizhi swung her staff wildly as she fell, and the phantom mist barely held up the shield. The blue light buzzed and her voice trembled. Sister Wan, the devouring power of the tentacles is too strong, and the shield has 10% health left. Our team's total combat strength of 1.5 million cannot withstand this wave of AO. Lin Yian's dagger flew to contain her, and her 999-9 agile figure writhed on the abyss wall, sweat dripping down her cheeks. Chu Tian's bastard is coming. Wan retreat. This boss has a hidden debuff, and it keeps losing 50,000 blood per second. Su Wan's heart felt like she was falling into an ice cave. The countdown to collapse flashed red at 71 hours 58 minutes and 5 seconds. Billions of data on the entire server were wiped out. Chu Tian was surrounded by a sea of thousands of people. She gritted her teeth and roared. Retreat? Buried with the whole server? Start a war. The black wings of the void key flapped wildly, reversing the fall at 5 times the flying speed. Her figure swooshed out of the abyss, and 10 void sword shadow clones appeared, each with a combat power of 105,000, and the total output increased sharply by 1.05 million. The shadow of the sword buzzed like a swarm of bees. The frost blade storm attack speed exploded at 1099%, and the sword light tore through the vortex with clanging sounds. The eyes of the passers-by players around him widened, and a rookie archer retreated with weak legs, and his bow fell to the ground and shattered. Fuck! Void sword shadow? 10 clones? Her attack speed is over 1,000, and the boss's health bar dropped by 20%. This operation is god level. We can't even touch it in 10 years. Another priest girl held her head and screamed, her voice trembling. Chu Tian can still laugh? The queen fought back. The boss roared with a huge mouth, and the thunderous sound made the eardrums buzz. Intruder devour! The tentacles swept across like steel whips, and the wind pressure blew away the gravel. Su Wan's main body penetrated the void and evaded 99%, and the sword shadow clone withstood the blow, and the health bar only dropped 1%. The void key ignored level suppression, and the instant kill chance was 80% and the critical hit was 215%. She commanded the team channel and shouted, Luo Lizhi, the star confinement tentacles. Yenna, a critical hit in the back, breaking the defense. The shock in Luo Lizhi's eyes turned to frenzy. The staff star light filaments exploded and wrapped around the 3 main tentacles with a bang. The blue light tightened like a chain crunching. The boss struggled and broke the cliff and collapsed, and the boulder rolled down and hit the Chu Tian cavalry with a rumbling. She gasped. Sister Wan, it's amazing. The confinement was successful. The output of the tentacles was reduced by 50%, and my blood bottle can't keep up. Lin Yian's figure ran into the boss's blind spot like a ghost, and the dagger's poisonous blade 999 stabbed the back of the bat quickly. Chu Tian's face was ashen, and the cavalry team was forced to disperse and avoid the stone. He roared. The boss is accused? Impossible. Shadowblade elite assassins take control of her body. 50 Shadowblade fanatics rushed like wolves, daggers weaved with cold light, and whispered viciously. Queen of Frostblade, the equipment is exploded. But Su Wan's void wings were invisible for 30 seconds and reset. She teleported to the top of the boss. The Void Lord was activated. The black light breathed buzzing magic and the smell of ozone filled the air. She blasted with Frost Blade Storm plus Sword Shadow. The attack speed was 1099%. The sword rain poured down, and each critical hit cost 100,000 plus jumps. 125,000. Critical hit. 148,000. Void penetration. 200,000. Instant kill trigger. The boss's health bar is like a bursting flood. The tentacles break and pop, explodes with purple electricity. The giant body rolls and hits the cliff. The ground trembles like an earthquake. The smelly acid sprays hiss and corrodes the cavalry mounts. Novice passers-by watch the explosion from a distance, and a tank rookie's legs tremble. Signs of first kill. The boss has 30% health remaining, and she alone accounts for 80% of the output? Chu Tian Elite can't even touch the edge. I'm so jealous. Lin Yian took advantage of the chaos and rushed into Chu Tian's scout group. She flashed her figure with explosive speed, and used her dagger to collect 3 heads in a row. She stole the guild's plan scroll. Sky League plan. Block the entrance to the rift. Bomb in turns. and the insider intelligence points directly to the source of the bug. She shouted in the team channel. Wan, the scout information is obtained. Chu Tian is going to seal the entrance. Luo Lizhi's mana surged, and he supplemented the ultimate move Starfall to blast the boss's weak points, and the fireball rain boom exploded the black scales, and the smell of burnt meat hit his nostrils. Su Wan's murderous intent boils, the void sword shadow merges, the main body jumps into the huge mouth, the frost blade storm ultimate combo. The attack speed is stacked, the sword light spins like a tornado and buzzes to tear the inner wall, the boss roars to the sky, and the health bar is cleared. Bite. The first kill of the Void Devourer, left 0.80. In the whole server, the Frostblade Queen's team received X1 of the hidden professional scroll Void Sword Master, plus 2 stars for the whole team's equipment, and unlimited experience. Golden light soared into the sky, and system-wide server announcements exploded, echoing like thunder across the Void continent. Server-wide announcement: congratulations to the players' Frostblade Queen team for killing the secret boss Void Devourer for the first time. Reward: Void Sword Master Job Transfer Scroll, Void Essence X100, Server Stability plus 5%. Players in the entire server instantly became excited, and the World Channel screen flooded like an avalanche. What the fuck? The first kill in the Novice Zone was 0.80? What is the strength of the Frostblade Queen? 999999 took off. The Sky Alliance still loses despite being attacked by thousands of people? Chu Tian's face, it's green. Void Sword Master? Hidden profession, double the output. The guild channel went viral, and a big guild vice president murmured. Recruit her for this operation? Su Wan took the scroll, injected black light, and changed her profession. Transfer to Void Sword Master successfully. All attributes plus 20%. New skill: Void Sword Domain. 50% range deceleration. 300% sword energy AoE critical hit. Combat power skyrocketed to 1,260,000. Fusion of the Key of the Void. All attributes plus 10%. The sword energy around her was soaring into the sky. Luo Lizhi's eyes were as round as copper bells. She touched her purple gauze robe with trembling hands and sublimated it. Sister Wan, the job transfer value is skyrocketing? Combat power is 1.26 million? Our equipment is plus 2 stars. And my spell damage is almost 200,000 per hit. The boss's body is still twitching, and novice passers-by are stunned. Lin Yuyan swung her dagger. Blood spattered, and the corner of her mouth curled up. Chu Tian's plan has been obtained. He wants to block the entrance, but we have already entered. Passers-by and players came to watch, and a round-faced mage knelt down to worship with a choked voice. Goddess Sword Master, the light effect of the job change is so cool. Even if we have a combat strength of 10,000, you can kill the boss with one sword, and thousands of people in Chu Tian will be like dogs. Another female archer burst into tears. The announcement flashed across the screen, and the whole server was shaken. I took a screenshot and sent it to my friend's circle, and the Frostblade Queen became a god. Chu Tian's face was twisted like a ghost, and the morale of the cavalry team collapsed. He gritted his teeth and said, "Withdraw. Block the entrance and call in national war level firepower." The Shadowblade fanatics dragged the remaining soldiers to flee, and looked back with malicious eyes. "Boss, this female monster. How can we rob her after she changes her profession?" Su Wan ignored it. The wings of the void flapped, and the three of them passed through the secret passage where the boss's corpse was split. The synthesis of map fragments was completed, 100% progress, and the first layer of void cracks was unlocked. The purple electric wall sizzled and pulsed, and the bug spread like a virus. She injected the key of the void, and the sword energy bombarded the core of the seal with a loud bang, and the first bug seal shattered. The system prompts ding-dang. The first bug seal is lifted. Server stability plus 20%. Crash countdown buffer. 71 hours and 30 minutes. The whole team gets bug essence, permanent resistance plus 10%. The air in the depths of the passage became fresher, and the rotten smell faded away. Luo Lizhi sighed with relief, her eyes filled with admiration. "Sister Wan, I will become a god in one battle." The server-wide announcement crushed Chu Tian, but the friend list flashed. Lu Ting's profile picture lit up, and a domineering voice came. Queen of the Frostblade, I saw the announcement. The internal information of my guild. Chu Tian bribed the server engineer, blocked the entrance to the whole floor, and heavy artillery bombing is imminent. Looking for help, join forces? I have 100,000 elite plus supercomputer level equipment. Condition: join the alliance afterwards. At the end of the passage, the purple electric wall pulsated like the heartbeat of a living creature. The luster of the bug virus covered the cracked wall. The smell of corrosion was once again strong and assailed the nostrils. The smell of scorched earth mixed with gunfire and gunpowder smoke billowed in from the entrance. Su Wan's void sword domain rotated slightly, and the sword energy buzzed and slowed down the surrounding air. She scanned the friend list with cold eyes. Lu Ting's profile picture flashed endlessly, and the domineering voice once again blasted into her eardrums. Queen of Frostblade. Reply. That piece of shit Chu Tian has sealed the entrance. The National War 3 rounds of heavy artillery bombings per minute, 100,000 elites guarding the entrance. The stability of the entrance is reduced to 5%. The three of you can't fly. The Sky-Killing God Guild are all out. Supercomputer-level supply airdrops. There is only one condition. Join the alliance and join forces to defeat Bug and Chu Tian. Luo Lizhi clenched her staff tightly, her purple gauze robe trembling in the electric light. Her face turned pale and her voice trembled. Sister Wan, the sound of artillery fire at the entrance is getting closer and closer. The bang vibrates and the cracks in the rock wall expand. Our resistance is only plus 10%. If we can no longer withstand the debuff, we will lose 80,000 blood per second. Chu Tian bribed the engineer and the blockade was upgraded. The screen said that the entire server guild alliance wants to divide the key of the void. Lin Yan's dagger whirled and buzzed. Her tight black leather suit was stained with blood. She gritted her teeth. Wan Lu Ting, the leader of the alliance, has great ambitions and 100,000 elites are awesome. But the conditions for joining the alliance. Our team is used to being independent, and Chu Tian's thousands of people can't help us, so what are we afraid of? Su Wan's heart felt like a huge boulder was weighing on her. The data of hundreds of millions of players in the server were hanging by a thread. The countdown to collapse was read at 71 hours 29 minutes and 45 seconds. Chu Tian's wild laughter echoed in the dust and smoke at the entrance. Frostblade bitch, hide and seek? Fire a salvo of heavy artillery to flatten the crack. Shadowblade, the elite assassin, infiltrated and exploded her body. The artillery fire exploded, boom boom boom. The ground shook like an earthquake, and gravel fell like rain. In the passage, passers-by on the Player World channel wailed. It's over. The Frostblade Queen was surrounded and annihilated by the Sky Alliance, and the novice area became a battlefield. Who dares to enter? The announcement goddess is about to fall, and the artifact is jealous. A rookie archer knelt down from a distance, and the bowstring broke with a crisp snap. What if her combat power is 1.26 million? The output of the Chu Tian Kingdom War Fortress is 500,000 in a single round, and the entrance is sealed. Despair. Su Wan took a deep breath of the electric smelly air, lightly fanned the void wings and replied in a cold voice. Lu Ting, join forces. We have sent the coordinates of the supply airdrop, and we will discuss joining the alliance afterwards, but we must first break Chu Tian's blockade. As soon as the words were spoken, the system dinged. Skyvault Killing God Guild's assistance confirmed. High-end supply box airdrop. God-level blood bottle X500. Instantaneous recovery of 100% blood plus debuff removal. Anti-gun shield roll X100. 50 people in the scout team can be teleported to join. The golden portal cracked in the sky with a boom, and Lu Ting's shadow appeared first. The tall figure was clad in red gold battle armor, with a combat power of 1,500,000. With a wave of his hand, the supply box fell to the ground with a pop, and the blood-red light filled the air. The scout team sprang out like a pack of wolves, each with an agility of 700 plus, and the crossbows flashed with cold light. A flash of light flashed in Lu Ting's eyes, and his voice was low and domineering but with a hint of softness. Queen, you are so brave. I personally led the scouts to break the seal. Chu Tian's trash bought the GM vulnerability information. I have dug out the inside information. He stuffed 50 million to buy the server backdoor, and the coordinates of the second-level bug node point directly to the core. Go! Luo Li's eyes widened, and her hands trembled when she touched the blood bottle. Her blood was full, and her purple eyes were filled with blood. Fanatic. The leader is awesome. The god-level blood bottle removes the debuff. Our mana is fully restored, and our output is doubled. Sister Wan, this resource is at the level of the top guilds in the entire server. Lin Yian's intelligence scroll shook, and the stolen data exploded. Chu Tian GM loophole. Backdoor coordinates of the second layer center. Bribe the engineer with 50 million gold, and the mole pointed directly at the coordinates of the source of the bug. She shouted. The bottom line is revealed. Chu Tiangu jumped over the wall in a hurry, and the GM information was obtained. The team expanded to 54 people. Su Wan's sword field was fully opened. The range was expanded by 50%, and the sword energy hissed like a tornado sweeping through the passage. The smoke of artillery fire at the entrance hit the face, and Chu Tian's thousands of heavy artillery bang bombarded, and the flames shot into the sky and the hot air waves baked the rock wall red. The Shadowblade fanatics led 3 full-level elite assassins with an agility of 888+ to rush forward. The poisonous dagger network was swung and the poisonous smile was vicious. The queen's main body is locked. The 3 elites chain controlled and exploded. The assassin's figure flashed like a ghost, and the poisonous blade, puff. The debuff stacked and the blood dropped by 100,000 per second. The 2 scouts fell to the ground in an instant, and their health bars were reset to 0. The corpses exploded. The passers-by watched from a distance and said, "The elite assassin has 3 consecutive controls and has lost 20% of his health. He is going to be rounded."
In despair, Su Wan sneered.
Wings of the Void teleported at 5x speed. The main body penetrated 99% of the poisonous net. Frost Bladestorm's attack speed exploded at 1099%. 10 sword shadow clones appeared, each with 105,000 combat power, swarming forward. The sword light was like a torrential rain. Clang, clang, clang continuously. The first elite assassin stared and his legs weakened. What the fuck? The total output of the clone is 1.05 million? My agility is 888 and I can't dodge it. The red letter of the sword shadow jumped. -180, 000, 215 000. Instant kill trigger. His health bar evaporated, and his body exploded to the ground with a bang. The second and third elite daggers froze midway, their faces distorted and frightened. Critical hit 215%? Attack speed is over 1,000, and our epic set ignores it? Boss help! Su Wan's main body, the Void Master, swallowed black light. The smell of ozone magic filled the air, and swept Buzz, with a sword to tear apart the 3-person formation. -250 000. Void penetration. The 3 elites knelt down instantly, and the equipment ding-ding dropped and the divine light flashed. The Shadowblade fanatic's face was as green as a ghost, and he dragged the remaining team back. Monster! Kill 3 elites in a single fight in 0.5 seconds? Boss Chu Tian, this woman's combat power is hidden 1,260,000. Lu Ting wildly swung his red gold battle axe, and the heavy artillery shattered the shield and opened a path of blood. The fort tilted and exploded with boom, and the flames shot up into the sky. He galloped away on horseback, and the world channel avalanched. The Sky Killer plus Frostblade Queen joined forces? Thousands of people from Chu Tian surrounded and crushed like dogs. The screen recording of the 3 elite assassins went viral, and the Queen singled out the god to operate, crying with jealousy. A forum top post hotly discussed. The Frostblade Queen's key to the void is real? Attack speed 1099%. Critical hit 215%, 10 clones? Guilds across the server are asking to form a team, and are offering a reward of 200 million. Players interacted with each other, and tens of thousands of people responded and worshipped. The novice area is a god, and she saves the server from crisis? The goddess will marry me. The team rushed out of the entrance, and the dust and smoke cleared and headed straight to the second floor. The purple electricity was upgraded to black and red lightning, crackling the air, bug nodes pulsating like tumors, corrosive acid mist hissing thicker, and the secret boss guard awakened with a low roar. The second layer of the map unfolds. Endless floating islands in the void. A continent of billions of pixels is faintly visible. the holographic VR worldview explodes. The projection of the server's supercomputing core emerges, and the data flow is like a galactic river. The starlight threads of Luo Lizhi's staff bang around the second bug node. The blue lock crunches tightens the tumor, and the virus luster cracks and explodes. She gasps and exults. Cracked! The node is purified, the stability is plus 25%. Sister Wan's sword energy value increases by another 15%. The Void Sword domain critical hit increases to 345%, and the combat power soars to 1,450,000. Su Wan flapped her black wings to inject the key to the void. Her sword energy buzzed into the sky like thunder, and the system jingled. The second bug seal is lifted. The team's permanent resistance plus 20%. Collapse countdown buffer. 70 hours and 45 minutes. Su Wan sword energy fusion. Attack plus 75,000. Total combat power 1,450,000. The surrounding scout team's eyes widened, and an archer scout dropped his bow with trembling legs. The queen's sword energy beam shot straight to the top of the floating island. The numerical value is sky high, and our agility of 700 is like a turtle in her domain. This magical weapon can make you orgasm even if you touch it. Lu Ting leaned his battle axe on the ground, and the emotion in his eyes was as dark as fire. Ran, a domineering voice, whispered to the team channel. Want a happy cooperation? I have all the resources available. After joining the alliance, the Sky Killer God will pave the way for you, and the whole server will share the hegemony. Private chat, see you offline. Luo Lizhi snickered and Lin Yian blinked. The alliance has taken the initiative? Wan, it's a chance. Su Wan's eyes flashed, and her heart was filled with confusion. Did Lu Ting, the leader of the alliance, arrive in time? Chu Tian's army has sealed the entrance. Dust and smoke are billowing, artillery fire, bombs test fire on the cliff, and the second layer of guards faintly awakens. The black and red lightning behemoth roared. The middle level of the floating island shook like the end of the world. Its tentacles as thick as mountains whipped the air. The corrosive smell of ozone mixed with the smoke of magic crystal cannons came to the nostrils, and the scorching air waves roasted the faces of the scouts red. Chu Tian rides a horse and floats in midair, hunting in a crimson cloak. Hundreds of elite assassin cavalry are surging like a tidal wave. Riding shadows with 800+ agility swish through the cracks of the floating island. The heavy artillery magic crystal locks on Su Wan's team and buzzes for charging. The output is 800,000 per round. His twisted smile echoes across the channel. Lu Ting traitor. Frostblade bitch, the artifact is exposed to all servers, and the GM backdoor fills the boss health bar with 15%. The tentacle AoE is below level 99 in seconds. I bought the supercomputer, and within 5 minutes of the collapse of the floating island, all 54 of you were killed. The key of the void reweaved the poison net, and led the remaining team of 20 assassins to flank them. The evil spirit roared. Monster, last time the 3 elites were killed in 0.5 seconds. This time 100 people are violent and the agility is 888+. Control the field, and you will get an epic drop. The faces of the 50 people in the scout team turned pale, and the bowstring of an archer's hand and leg broke with a snap. The Tremor World channel wailed. It's over. The CD of the Chu Tian magic crystal cannon is 1 second, the boss tentacles are slowed down by 70%, and the poison debuff is 150,000 per second. We the resistance is plus 30%. So what if the queen has a combat power of 1.45 million? A sea of 100 people plus a backdoor boss. The stability dropped by 3%. Luo Lizhi's staff shook tightly, and the star's light thread was almost crushed by the tentacles. Her face turned white and her lips turned green. Sister, the boss has 15 billion blood, and the output of the linkage with Chu Tian has doubled. Our mana shield is broken, and we are losing 120,000 blood every second. The whole server forum is refreshed. The Sky Alliance is dividing the artifact, and players are pouring into the periphery of the rift to watch. And the competitive live broadcast is on. Yan's dagger rotated, buzzing in a test, and her black leather suit was stained with blood. She gritted her teeth and channeled the team. Wan, the ghost information in Chu Tian is wrong. This backdoor brings the boss to full health. The key output is the Shadow Blade dog. It is extremely agile. I can't lock it with a single stab. Lu Ting's red gold battle armor rang out, and his battle axe hit the ground to block the first wave of tentacles. Boom shook the rubble away. His domineering eyes flashed solemnly, and he waved his anti-artillery shield roll with his big hand to cover the entire team. The blood-red barrier Zizi blocked the magic crystal cannon. A round of boom exploded with fire shooting into the sky. I tank forward. With a combat power of 1.5 million, the damage will be reduced by 80%, and the blood bottle will be restored instantly. Queen Yu Aoi will clear the field, Lin Yiyan will stab the Shadow Blade, and Luo Li will control the boss. After joining the alliance, I will buy out this floating island. Su Wan's cold eyes scanned the blood-red countdown of 70 hours 44 minutes and 30 seconds. The boulder in her heart pressed against her head. The wings of the void lightly fanned and the deceleration zone expanded. The sword energy hummed and the air became stagnant. However, Chu Tian's cavalry hit the shield and exploded with bang bang. The debuff stacked up. The health bar of the whole team dropped by 20%, and the corpses of the 3 scouts exploded in an instant. Passers-by live broadcasted the avalanche of barrage. Despair. The Sky Alliance's 100 Elite epic sets are complete. The Queen's team cannot last for 10 seconds, the boss's tentacles come, and the floating island splits. In the desperate situation where he wanted to advance but suppressed before, Chu Tian laughed wildly. Kneel down. The GM backdoor is permanently fixed. The boss violent mode is activated. The output is plus 200%. The black and red behemoth's tentacles were like a rain of whipping rain, cracking the rocks on the edge of the floating island, and the corrosive acid mist hissing filled the vision and blurred the vision. The second round of the magic crystal cannon blasted through the edge of the shield, and the 5 scouts fell to the ground screaming with their health bars cleared. The Shadow Blade fanatic charged forward with a ferocious smile. Lock the Queen's main body. The Poison Blade's 3 control puff hit Su Wan's heart, with an agility of 888 and a dodge rate of 99%. Passers-by in the team stared and felt weak. No solution. The Assassin King controls the field. Even the Queen's clone can't stop it. Luo Li screamed. Sister Wan, be careful. Lin Yiyan's dagger shot was deflected by the sea of cavalry, her face turned pale. The Shadow Blade debuff ignores resistance, I can't catch up with you. Su Wan sneered, and the Void Wings teleported at 5 times the speed of Buzz, to widen the distance. The attack speed of Frost Bladestorm was 1099%, and 10 sword shadow clones appeared in unison, each with a combat power of 1.45 million, swarming and bursting out. The sword light rainstorm clang 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 poured down like a galaxy, first locking on the Shadow Blade fanatic. The Void Sword domain slowed down by 50%, causing his agility to plummet to 400. The Poison Blade froze in midair. His eyes widened and his face turned green and twisted. Damn it! The total output of the clone is 14.5 million, and the critical hit is 345%? The first sword shadow has a critical hit of 999. Void penetration. 410000. Instant kill trigger. The blood bar of the Shadow Blade evaporated, and the corpse bang exploded with rare materials dinging and fell to the ground. The divine light was dazzling and he roared before death. Monster! Boss Chu Tian, her attack speed is thousands. Lin Yiyan took the opportunity to swish the dagger out to assassinate the intelligence, and the stolen data exploded. Shadow Blade dead. The key output is interrupted. She shouted in ecstasy. Wan is amazing. Kneeling down with agility of 888 seconds, I got the materials. The reaction of the supporting characters exploded, and the archer of the scout team stared wide-eyed and trembled as he dropped his bow. The Queen Zoe cleared 20 assassins? The sword shadow clone is like the real body, and all the assassin guilds in our server are crying. This operation is recorded and posted on the forum. I am so jealous. Luo Li's purple eyes were wild, and the stars imprisoned boom around the boss's tentacles to tighten the tumor pulse. Control it. Sister Wan's sword domain blessing. The boss slows down by 70%, and the magic damage is doubled by 200,000 per hit. Lu Ting's battle axe whirled the tank wildly, stepping forward. The red gold armor was stacked with damage-reducing and absorbing tentacles, and he smashed with boom. The health bar only dropped 5% and instantly returned to full. He laughed and said domineeringly, "The Queen is awesome. I have 50 billion health to withstand it, and the magic crystal cannon will crush her. Su Wan's main body is the Void Dominator. Black light bursts out, the smell of ozone magic fills the whole place. Frost Blade Storm LV is upgraded to a maximum of +1. The sword energy OE range explodes, buzzing like thunder sweeping over 100 meters, and the critical hit is 300%. The red letter jumps wildly. -450, 000, 520000. The group triggers in seconds. Chu Tian's elite cavalry sea of 100 people collapsed. The blood bar of 50 cavalry shadows was cleared, and corpses exploded with pop. The magic crystal cannon tilted and exploded with boom, and the flames shot into the sky, and the floating island was filled with gunpowder smoke and scorching people. Chu Tian's face was ashen as he rode back. The remains of the heavy artillery were smoking. He gritted his teeth and grinned ferociously. The boss is furious. The back door is full of blood, but the tentacles of the giant beast were torn apart by Luo Lizhi's star silk. Su Wan's sword shadow hit the core of the boss with 10 rays. -1-200-000. Critical hit combo. 1-500-000. The Lord of the Void ignores level. The boss's health bar dropped by 15%, and the cracks on the floating island expanded with an ear-splitting roar. Lu Ting's axe flashed like a dragon and split open the remnants of the cavalry. Lin Yiyan's ghostly shuttles assassinated the last 10 output assassins with a puff of daggers. She gasped with excitement. It's all clear. The Chu Tian dog thing escaped alone. I stole the GM backdoor data and pointed it directly at the core altar. The remaining 40 people from the scout team knelt down to worship, and trembled after stabbing. The leader of the tank alliance reduces damage, and the Queen AoE clears 100 people with 0 damage? The combat power has taken off with 1.45 million. And the whole server's competitive rankings are stable. The forum exploded, players poured into the periphery of the rift, and the reward was doubled to 400 million to ask for a team. After the dust and smoke cleared, the middle level of the floating island became quiet, and the system dinged continuously. Guild Battle Victory. Defeated the raid of hundreds of people from the Sky Alliance. Rare materials dropped. Void Crystal Essence X10, Legendary Forging Material, Attack plus 30%. The boss Guardian debris exploded into Guardian fragments. The team's experience plus 500%. Su Wan's first kill contribution is 90%. Reputation plus server-wide legend. Su Wan folded her wings of the void, picked up the crystal marrow and injected it into the key of the void to buzz and fuse. The Frost Blade Sword had a strong black light, and the system announced a dazzling. The Queen of Frost Blade was forged successfully. Sword of the Void, artifact evolution attack power surges by 30%. Total plus 172,500. Attack speed plus 1,299%. Critical hit 380%. Combat power sprint 1,885,000. The only effect Void Sword Rain. 95% area kill rate. Ignores backdoor debuffs. The surrounding scouts stared wide-eyed. Their legs weakened, and when the archer touched the sword, he trembled in the aftermath. The divine sword's beam of light is soaring into the sky? The value is skyrocketing, and our epic bow is like a toy next to it. The queen touched it to orgasm this forging. All the blacksmiths in the server fainted in tears. Luo Lizhi's staff scanned the projection of the floating island, and the starlight penetrated into the galactic river running through the core of the server. Her purple eyes flashed and she analyzed the team channel. Sister Wan, the source of the bug is locked. Deep in the core altar, 3 guardian keys need to be collected to unlock it. The intelligence shows that the first boss is about to refresh the central floating island, the second and third hidden secret copy. The stability buffer of the whole server is plus 10%, and the countdown is 70 hours and 30 minutes, but before he could finish the words, boom roared out from the depths of the floating island, and the first guardian key boss appeared in black, with a health bar of 20 billion faintly pulsing, and the system's secret prompt was only visible to Su Wan. Warning. The hidden debuff Curse of the Void is about to be triggered. The whole team's resistance is invalid, and the blood loss is 200,000 per second for 60 seconds. Lu Ting approached Su Wan with his battle axe on the ground, his eyes filled with passion, and whispered in a low voice. Wan or Excalibur is so handsome. Has the alliance been negotiated? I will make an appointment offline. All resources will be fully utilized, and the hegemony will be shared. Luo Lizhi snickered and blinked. Lin Yan pushed Su Wan. Opportunity. But the boss debuff is coming, and the crisis has arisen again. World channels across the server are buzzing with excitement. Hundreds of millions of players are pouring into the competitive areas around the rift. Live broadcasts are flooded with barrages. Queen of the Frost Blade OE clearance. Hundreds of people's screen recordings are going viral. Announcement of the forging of the Void Sword. Divine operation to confer gods. The guild is kneeling and licking. Chu Tian is running away like a dog. There is a reward of 500 million. Who will form a team to enter the second level? A passerby warrior looked at the floating island from a distance, kneeling with weak legs and murmuring. She is just starting to gain fame. She is the guild leader and the savior of the server? She is jealous and crying. In the cracks on the floating island, the tentacles of the black shadow boss slowly extended. The cursed black mist hissed in the air. The team's health bar was beating faintly, and there was an undercurrent of crisis. The cracks in the middle of the floating island slowly opened like the bloody mouth of a giant beast, and black mist hissed out, mixed with the pungent sour smell of metal corrosion, instantly filling the entire battlefield. The huge black shadow of the Chaos Watcher boss has completely emerged. His body that is hundreds of meters high is like a twisted void whirlpool, and his countless tentacles as thick as ancient trees are shaking the air with loud bangs. The core health bar flashes blindly. 20 billion/20 billion, and the black mist pulsates around him. The debuff icon that beats every second causes the team's health bar to plummet. The curse of the void is triggered. 200,000 real damage per person per second. Resistance is invalid, lasts for 60 seconds. The faces of the 40 members of the scout team instantly turned pale. The archers fell to their knees with weak arms and legs, and the bowstring snapped. The trembling world channel wailed. It's over, it's over. The boss's hidden debuff has no solution. Our HP is only 50 million. And it will be cleared in 3 seconds. What about the Queen's Excalibur? The whole team lay down instantly, the stability dropped by 5%, and the server shook. Luo Lizhi's purple gauze robe was corroded by the black mist, and her mana shield shattered. She gritted her teeth and tried the star light thread, but was whipped away by a tentacle. Her health bar dropped by 15%, and her face was ashen. The team channel screamed, Sister Wan! The curse penetrates the divine armor, 200,000 per second, and the boss has not moved yet. The tentacle AoE is slowed down by 80%, and each wave of chaos ripples inflicts 500,000 group damage. The whole server is broadcasting an avalanche of barrages, and the players shout, Humanity is finished, the Queen's team can't last 10 seconds. Lin Yan's dagger spins buzzing, but her figure is blurred, and the black mist debuff reduces her agility by 30%. She panted and roared. The intelligence is wrong. This boss's stealth weakness flashes for 1 second every 10 seconds. I can't catch up. Chu Tian's dog is remotely monitored, and the forums are full of rumors that he is a traitor to the Alliance's sky-killing god. Lu Ting's red gold battle armor clanged, and his battle axe hit the ground against the front line, and the black mist burned his body red. On his face, the health bar dropped by 200,000 per second. Desperation flashed through his eyes. The shield roll covered the entire team but only blocked 30%. I can't hold a tank with 50 billion health for 60 seconds. Queen, retreat? The edge of the floating island will crack. If it falls, the server data will be permanently lost. The world channel exploded, and hundreds of millions of players poured into the outer competitive area of the rift. Barrage was like a torrential rain. Ha ha ha, the Queen of Frostblade is awesome again. She kneels down when she encounters a hidden debuff. The boss has 20 billion blood, and its tentacles reach level 99 in seconds. Chu Tian's live broadcast ridiculed. I'll take the bitch's artifact from the black market. The stability is 67%, and the data of the whole server is in crisis. Who dares to form a team and die? Chu Tian rode his horse to the edge of the rift, hunting with a red cloak, and the whole channel enlarged his smile. Kneel down. Frostblade. The GM's backdoor interferes indirectly, and the boss's weakness is hidden forever. The curse is stacked 2 times and 400,000 people per second. The Sky Alliance reorganizes 500 people, and other guilds in the alliance launch a server-wide encirclement and suppression, and 54 people in your team become meat. The floating island was violently shaken with a boom. A rain of tentacles was pouring down and the rocks were smashed with a pop bang, and debris was like shrapnel dinging into the scout's armor. The black mist and acid mist choked the nose and coughed repeatedly. The collective red line of the team's health bar flashed, and there was only a 40-second countdown left. In the abyss of despair, Su Wan's cold eyes locked on the core of the boss. The black mist was shrouded in darkness, but the wings of the void fanned away slightly. She whispered to the system with her frost blade. Change? Void Swordmaster, fully activated. The system's golden light shot into the sky. Ding. Su Wan successfully transferred to another class. Void Swordmaster, the only hidden class. All attributes increased by 50%, and the combat power sprinted to 2,827,500. The new skill Void Swordmaster Continuous Slash is unlocked. Lock the weak point for 10 consecutive critical hits. Each hit ignores 99% damage reduction, and the output is doubled. The surrounding scouts stared wide-eyed and their legs weakened. An assassin touched the health bar and shivered with the lingering fear. The beam of light piercing the floating island? The combat power of 28 million took off, and our epic suit was beside it like paper. The queen touched the boss and climaxed at a glance. This value. All the professional transfer masters in the server fainted in tears. Su Wan's main body teleported at 5 times speed and swooshed into the core of the black mist. The sword of the void breathed black light and smelled of ozone magic. The attack speed of the frost blade storm exploded at 1,299%. 10 sword shadow clones appeared, each with a combat power of 2.8 million, swarming to lock the boss's invisible weakness. The first blow of the Void Swordmaster's consecutive clang 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 blows was like thunder exploding, and the red letter jumped wildly to 50,000. Weakness critical attack. Void penetration. 1,200,000. 2 hits in a row. 1,500,000. 10 consecutive triggers. The total output is 15 million. The boss Black Shadow twists and roars ear-splittingly. The tentacles stiffen and slow down by 50%, and the weakness is exposed for 3 seconds. Luo Lizhi's purple eyes were wild, and the star-imprisoned boom staff hit the ground. The light threads were like 10,000 pythons wrapped around the tentacles, and they tightened and popped and cracked. The magic damage was doubled by 250,000 per hit. She screamed excitedly. Control! Sister Wan's sword domain blessing. Boss Chaos ripples rebound self-damage by 20%, and the curse debuff is halved. Lu Ting's battle axe whirled wildly. The tank stepped forward. The red gold armor was stacked with damage reduction and absorbed the giant hit boom, and the health bar was only reduced by 10%. It was instantly full, and he laughed and said domineeringly, I can withstand it. The queen's continuous killing skills output 28 million to crush. The boss's health dropped by 8%. Lin Yian's ghost broke the invisible, and the dagger's swish pierced the weak point for a critical hit. 900,000. Intelligence assassination. Stealth blast. She gasped in ecstasy. Weakness locked. Chu Tian's interference is cut off, and the server jitter is relieved. The reaction of the supporting characters exploded, and the archer of the scout team dropped his bow and trembled with eyes widened. The Void Sword Master changed his profession? 10 consecutive slashes passed through the edge of 20 billion health bars in seconds. The sword shadow clone is like the true body legion. All swordsman guilds in our server kneel down. This operation will be recorded and posted on the forum, and the jealous people will die. Boss's tentacles are furious. Counterattack Papa whipped the rocks on the edge of the floating island to collapse, and the ripples of chaos buzz spread to cause group damage of 500,000. But the only effect of Su Wan's Void Sword Rain was activated, with a range instant kill rate of 95%. The group triggers in seconds. 2,500,000. Overlord ignores debuff. The boss's health bar dropped by 25%. The core tumor pulsated and exploded during the roar. The cursed black mist hissed away, and the team's health bar stopped falling. Chu Tian's face was livid on the far side, and the remnants of the heavy artillery were sizzling smoke. He gritted his teeth and whispered to his subordinates. Interference failed. All alliance guilds moved to encircle and suppress the entrance to the rift. Lu Ting's inner ghost was exposed, and the traitor data was sent to the entire server. The team's tacit understanding is like a god. Luo Lizhi's star light detects weaknesses. Lu Ting's axe light cuts like a dragon's tentacles. Lin Yiyan's serial assassination output is stacked. Su Wan's main body, the Void Master, swallows black light, and the final blow boom. Sword energy penetrates the core. First kill of the Chaos Watcher. Contributed 95% to Su Wan Boss Corpse explosion. First Guardian Key X1 Core Altar Unlock Key. Chaos Crystal Core X5, Legendary level. All attributes plus 50%. Experience plus 800%. Reputation as mythical in all servers. The system announcement flashed dazzlingly throughout the server. The floating island shook with golden light. Su Wan's numerical value exploded. The total combat power increased by 50% to 4,241,250. The Void Sword evolved again, with an attack speed of 1,499% and a critical hit of 450%. The scout team knelt down and worshipped. A warrior's legs went weak and he murmured. The first kill announcement will blow up the server? The queen's output is 90%. The key is in hand and the stability plus 15% buffer. We are following the right person. And we will kill the entire server competitive list. The dust and smoke dissipated, and the middle level of the floating island became quiet. The black mist subsided to reveal the crystalline altar projection. The core galaxy was surging and pulsing faintly, and the countdown to 70 hours was beating slowly. The team rested. Su Wan sheathed her sword and stood up. Her cold face swept over the loot. The god-level blood bottle Galu was distributed. The anti-gun shield scroll was replenished X100. The high-end supply box was opened and a permanent resistance scroll X50 was opened. The team's total resistance was plus 50%, and the experience empowerment allowed the scout to quickly break 800. Luo Lizhi's staff scanned the key, and her purple eyes shone on the team channel. Sister Wan, the first key is fused with the Sword of the Void, and the second and third keys lock the secret copy. The bug node is purified by 20%, and the server jitter is stopped, but Chu Tian's interference will leave future troubles. She divided the Chaos Crystal Core as she spoke, and her own magic damage soared to 300,000 per hit. She hugged Su Wan's arms excitedly. I've changed my profession. I'll post the screen recording of the Sword Master's killing streak on the forum. I adore you. Lin Yiyan came ghostly, stuck her dagger into the ground to pick up the crystal core, and injected it into the assassination suit, breaking 1100 quickly. She blinked and pushed Su Wan. Wan, the key is so handsome. Lu Ting's eyes are hot. Has the alliance been agreed? We made an appointment for dinner offline, and he knocked out the entire server. Lu Ting approached, the smell of red gold armor and gunpowder smoke assaulting his nostrils. His eyes were filled with passion as he leaned his battle axe on the ground. He spoke privately in a low voice and said to the public, "One or the divine sword skills are crushing the whole audience. My guild will help us forever, and we will share our dominance. I will investigate the internal traitors, and the 5 major guilds of the Chu Tian Dog West Alliance are offering a reward of 1 billion to encircle and suppress the entrance." He handed over a supercomputer supply airdrop. God-level blood bottle X1000, red gold amulet, damage reduction 90%. The scout team opened his eyes and screamed jealously. The tycoon of the leader. The amulet value is skyrocketing. Our epic armor is crying. The queen joins the alliance to become a god. Suddenly, the system alarm on the middle level of the floating island shrilled. Warning! Guild triggered. Sky Alliance Chu Tian personally led 100 elite raids. National War level firepower plus GM backdoor opened. Boss Guardian linkage awakens. Chu Tian's figure teleported down with a boom, and hundreds of elite assassin cavalry rushed in like a tsunami, and the upgraded magic crystal cannon boomed, and locked onto the floating island. He twisted with a sinister smile. Join forces? Lu Ting, you traitor. The GM's back door is fully opened. The boss's health bar is at 150%. Queen, stay with the artifact and blast your whole family. The black and red lightning beast roared to life, and its tentacles were like a mountain collapse, and the crisis arose again. But the tranquility suddenly broke. The world channel exploded with a boom, and Chu Tian's grinning head flashed. All servers obey the order. The 10 major guilds of the Sky Alliance, an army of thousands, blocked the entrance to the rift, the GM backdoor reopened, and the floating island teleportation ban. The ghost in Lu Ting's guild was exposed. The deputy alliance leader Shadow Wind rebelled, and the data leak directly pointed to Su Wan's coordinates, and the encirclement and suppression was about to begin. The stability dropped by 10%, and the server's red alert flashed. The portal collapsed at the edge of the floating island, and the sea of thousands of knights surged and black shadows appeared. The tide came in, the heavy artillery buzzed recharged, and the traitor Shadow Wind ID stabbed the world channel in the back. Lu Ting, old dog, the queen is evil, the inner ghost is so happy, I will explode your epic drop. Lu Ting's face was ashen and he clenched his battle axe tightly, and the scout team, her legs were weak and she screamed, "Traitor! The agility of a 1,000-man army is 900 plus, and the rear entrance is teleported. We 54 people can't withstand it." Luo Li's staff trembled. Lin Yian's dagger whirled. Su Wan narrowed her cold eyes, and the sword of the void whispered with an undercurrent of crisis. The air in the middle of the floating island solidified into lead in an instant, and the residual sound of black mist mixed with gunpowder smoke was as pungent as burning rust. The horseshoes of a 1,000-man army rumbled like thunder, pouring in blackly from the entrance of the fissure. The waves of red cloaks billowed, and the heavy artillery buzzed with low energy and vibrated, and rock fragments fell with ding-ding. The teleportation restriction golden network, ZZ, flashed to seal the escape route. The world channel of Shadow Wind's ID avatar was dazzlingly enlarged. His voice with a sinister smile was twisted like a ghost's howl. "Old dog Lu Ting, it's so cool to rebel." Su Wan's monster coordinates were exposed in the whole server, and the data of the mole was sent directly to Chu Tian. An army of 1,000 people was agile, and had 900 plus heavy artillery AoE. The stability was crazy. The floating island took 3 minutes. The 40 people in the scout team turned pale, and the bowstrings of their bows snapped. The team channel was still shaking with blood bars. "It's over. The entrance is blocked, and our 54-person resistance plus 50% can't withstand the attack of a 1,000-man army. Even the guild channel of Shadow Wind has been blackened, and the traitor debuff has slowed down the entire team by 20%. Luo Li's purple gauze robe was hunted by the wind. Her knuckles turned white when she clenched her staff. The starlight filaments tried to test the entrance but were bombed by the aftermath of the heavy artillery. She gasped and her purple eyes were horrified. "Sister Wan!" Chu Tian GM's backdoor upgrade, forbidden teleportation plus anti-stealth detection. A 1,000-man army divided into 3 groups to attack. The heavy cavalry in the middle can break armor for 5 million/hit, and the side wing assassins agility 1100 ambush. Forum live broadcast barrage. Queen squad GG, stability 67%, red alert. Whole server data crisis, who can save? Lin Yian's dagger whirled, buzzing, but her figure was lagging and debuffed. She gritted her teeth and ghostly scanned. Her agility 1100 dropped by 30% and gasped. Information update. There is a secret passage on the edge of the floating island hidden in Shadow Wind. Chu Tian himself is remotely controlled and hiding in the projection area on the 3rd floor. The 10 major guilds in the Alliance have Krypton gold suits. Our 54 people have a collective red line of health bars, and cannot sustain 2 rounds of O. The clanging cracks in Lu Ting's red-gold battle armor spread, and his battle axe leaned on the ground to withstand the rock collapse. The domineering look in his eyes turned to livid despair, and he smashed the guild panel with his big hand. The inner ghost Shadow Wind. I will kick out the Alliance immediately, airdrop all guild resources, smash 2,000 more god-level blood bottles, and distribute the red gold amulets to the entire team. But the army of thousands of people. Queen, there is no way to evacuate. The cracks on the edge of the floating island are expanding, and if you drop it, the data will be lost forever. The world channel erupted like a volcano, and hundreds of millions of players rained barrages. Haha. So what if the Frostblade Queen changed her job? The ghosts and gods in Shadow Wind assisted. Chu Tian's army of thousands became gods. The stability was shaking, and the server was stuck. The live broadcast footage chase Su Wan, you monster, please kneel down. I'm waiting for you on the black market of the artifact. Chu Tian's avatar floated on the full screen, and the red-cloaked hunter enlarged his smile. Kneel down and lick Su Wan. The Sky Alliance heavy artillery is fully charged. The boss omen has been summoned, and the third level is trapped. The trap is open, the stability drops by 5% every minute, and the countdown to the collapse of the entire server accelerates. The 54 people in your team become meat, and the first kill is the glory of me. The floating island was shaken with a boom, and the first round of heavy artillery fired boom boom boom. The fire was like a meteor shower and the rocks hit and exploded, and the debris was like a blade that hissed across the scout armor. The team's health bar collectively dropped by 30%. The debuff was superimposed and slowed down by 40%. And the poison caused 100,000 real damage per second. The first soldier on the scout knelt down and coughed up blood. His nose choked by smoke and tears streaming down his face as he trembled. Heavy artillery penetrates the resistance, and even our red gold amulet can reduce damage by 90% and can't stop it. The Queen's combat power of 40 million crushes the boss, but the sea of players is desperate. Su Wan's cold eyes locked on the black tide at the entrance. The void wings buzzed and lightly fanned, but the restricted backlash arc sizzled burned the wing membrane. Her frost blade whispered and the system prompts skill tree expansion. In the face of the crisis of encirclement and suppression, the Void Sword Master Group control unlocking conditions are triggered. The surrounding scouts stared wide-eyed and their legs were weak. For 0.2 million to take off, our epic set is like an army of thousands of ants. Jealousy plus fear, the suppression. The whole server tank guild is crying. In the abyss of depression, Su Wan's voice was cold and cold. The team channel. Lu Ting, integrate the guild resources. The airdrops of god-level blood bottles are all opened, and the scouts rush into the third floor through 3 groups of secret passages. Lin Yi unlocks the Shadow Wind coordinates, and Luo Lizhi stars upgrade. The debuff is restrained. Chu Tian's hiding information is prioritized, and the stability defense battle is on. Lu Ting's eyes flashed with iron blood, and he smashed the battle axe to summon the guild. Shadow Wind kicks the alliance, clears the data, and supercomputes the red gold turret X1 to counterattack the heavy artillery line. The golden light fell with a bang, and the blood bottles dinged scattered like rain. The god-level supply box exploded with a permanent agility scroll. Lin Yi's ghost broke out of hiding, and the dagger swish was injected into the crystal core intelligence scan. Her figure was blurred and gasped. The team channel. Locked. In the southeast corner of the Shadow Wind secret passage, in the core area of the third layer of the Chu Tian projection, the coordinates of the GM backdoor were exposed. Lu, the Alliance ambush team has 5 full-level masters with an agility of 1200 plus. Wan start a one-on-one competition. Kill the ghost first with intelligence. The team's tacit understanding broke out, and Luo Lizhi's staff hit the ground and the star light thread boomed. To upgrade the secret passage. The purple light pulsed like a tornado, restraining the restraint and tearing open the gap. Her purple eyes were fervent but trembling. The channel is open. The debuff is halved, but the players on the third layer are ambushed and heavy cavalry attack. Sister Wan's sword sync group control is solved. Lock it. Su Wan's main body teleported at 5 times speed and swooshed into the passage. The black light of the void sword puffed out the scent of ozone magic. The frost blade storm gained momentum with an attack speed of 1,499%. The 10 clones of the sword shadow appeared and locked the Shadow Wind coordinates. The passage was filled with smoke, and the aftermath of the heavy artillery buzzed in. The figure of the traitor Shadow Wind suddenly appeared. The full-level assassin suit flashed, and his dagger buzzed, while spinning and grinning ferociously at the world channel. The ghost inside is so happy. Su Wan came to die. But Su Wan's Void Sword Master slashed 10 times in a row with clang 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 clang, and thunder exploded, and the red letter jumped wildly. -1-200-000. Weakness critical attack. 1-500-000. 5 hits in a row. Shadowin's blood bar instantly emptied. The traitor's eyes widened as the dagger fell to the ground. His legs weak and howled. Impossible. I have an agility of 1200, and I can kill instantly under the deceleration debuff? The Queen's Sword Shadow clone is like a legion. The corpse exploded with rare inner ghost crystal X1, and the data-locked Chu Tian's backdoor weakness was exposed. Lu Ting smashed his battle axe against the wall of the passage with a suppressed laugh. Purge the inner ghost. Fully use the guild's resources. Queen's divine slash. It's great to clear it out. The scout team followed up with round eyes and jealous screams. Instantly kill the full-level inner ghost? The swordmaster's consecutive cuts ignore 1200 agility. Our assassin guild knelt down, recorded the screen and sent it to the forum to shock the whole server. Breaking into the third level, the black fog in the abyss of the floating island became thicker and smelled sour and pungent. 5 masters from the player's ambush team jumped out. The combat power of the heavy cavalry tank was 8 million, the agility of the 2 assassins was 1200, the magic damage of the mage was 400,000, and the critical hit of the archer was 500%. Their heavy armors lined up with a clanging sound, their tank shields buzzed in front of them, and they grinned ferociously. Ling of Chu Tian. In a competitive one-on-one, the Frostblade Queen kneels. The World Live broadcast barrage exploded. Masters block. 5v1. So what if the Queen changes her job? Stability is 65%. Crisis overwhelm. Su Wan sneered as Frostblade whispered Swordmaster skill tree unlocked. Void Sword Domain Group Control. Range slowdown 80%. Sword Energy Chain Control 5 targets. Critical hit 450% doubled. The wings of the void unfolded buzzing, and the black light poured out like a galaxy. The first wave of sword rain buzzed, and killed the archer instantly. Issue 500,000. Group control triggered. The archer stared at the bow and fell weakly. Second bow? The critical hit is 450% regardless of distance. All bow kings in our server will cry. The one-on-one competition breaks out. The heavy cavalry shield hits with a boom, and the ground trembles. The assassin swooshes with both wings, and the mage's star blast booms with 400,000 spell damage. Su Wan's sword field slowed down by 80%, and the sword energy chain snapped around 5 people. Her main body teleported Frostblade Storm, with an attack speed of 1,299%, and continuously killed tanks. Ish 1-800-000. Chain critical attack. 2-200-000. 10 consecutive output doubled. The tank shield was shattered and the health bar was empty, and he knelt down with wide eyes. Group control chain? I can reduce the damage by 95% and still break the defense. The combat power is 8 million as paper. Luo Lizhi imprisoned the auxiliary control assassin, and Lin Yan assassinated the critical strike mage. -1-000-000. Lu Ting's axe shines like a dragon's last strike. There is an avalanche of legendary materials for 5 Master Corpse explosions, and the second Guardian Key material Void Crystal Marrow X3 is available. The scout team worshipped and their legs were weak. The Queen singled out 5 full-level masters. Sword Domain Group Control crushing. 1200 agility turned into a turtle jealous to death. Let's become gods with the Queen. The system announces the golden light soaring into the sky. Ding. Su Wan defeated Chu Tian's ambush elite in a duel, and her total combat power increased by 20% to 5,089,500. Ranked first in the competitive rankings of the entire server, the Void Swordmaster is famous. Experience plus 500%, reputation plus myth. The rankings flashed dazzlingly, and the player world channel howled with jealousy. Queen on the list? One-on-one challenge to 5 masters. The materials exploded, and we are still ranked in the 100s with Krypton billions, worship plus hate. Luo Lizhi scanned the Crystal Marrow fusion channel, and the secret copy projection lit up with purple light pulsing. The second key materials are ready. The third floor the bug is purified by 30%, and the stability buffer is increased by 5%. Lin Yan blinked and pushed Su Wan. Wan is so handsome. Chu Tian's hiding information is being upgraded, and the elite guards are being summoned. Lu Ting protected Su Wan's waist with his hands and roared passionately, sharing the guild's resources on the 3rd level. But the depression suddenly turned into despair. The entrance to the core altar collapsed with a rumbling. The ground cracked and the bottomless abyss, black mist spewed out like the blood mouth of a giant beast. The boss omen red light pulsed. 3rd Guardian Awakening warm-up. 50 billion health bars. Sea of Tentacles plus Player Alliance fusion. A sea of hundreds of Chu Tian elite guards sprang out from the cracks, the heavy artillery buzzed locked the altar, and the remnants of Shadow Wind's resurrection debuffs were fully activated. The scout team screamed and their legs weakened. Trap! The entrance collapsed and there is no way out. The boss summoned elite guards due to the omen. The stability dropped by 8%, and the army of thousands merged. Luo Lizhi's staff trembled. Lin Yiyan clenched her dagger. Lu Ting's battle axe roared. Su Wan stared coldly into the abyss. The void sword whispered and the crisis resumed. The roar of the collapse of the entrance to the core altar was like the bells of hell. The black mist of the bottomless abyss was spitting like a poisonous snake. The sour and rotten stench assaulted the nostrils, and the burnt smell of burning flesh and blood penetrated directly into the nostrils. A sea of 100 elite guards burst out of the cracks. The heavy cavalry tank has a combat power of 8 million plus red cloak hunting. The assassin has agility of 1200. The dagger hums and flashes with poisonous light. The mage in the back row raises his staff high to preheat the starburst for 400,000 shot, and the archer rains arrows and charges a critical hit of 500%. The remnants of Shadow Wind's resurrection debuff is fully activated, with a 40% slowdown and 100,000 real damage per second stacked by poisoning. An army of thousands merges into a black tide. The heavy artillery buzzes and charges to lock onto the altar, and the muzzle's red light pulses like the eye of death. The third guardian's preheating red light flashed wildly. The sea of tentacles gulu squirmed from the abyss. The phantom of the health bar of 50 billion appeared, and the system alarm was piercing. Stability dropped by 8% to 57%. The countdown to collapse core is 69 hours and 20 minutes, and the risk of player data loss is plus 20%. The faces of the 40 people in the scout team were as white as paper. A tank with a weak shield fell to the ground. The red line of health bar trembled. The team channel crashed. It's over. There is no way to the entrance. The elite guard leader has a combat strength of 15 million and leads a formation of 100 people. An army of thousands of people is pressing back. A heavy artillery round in AoE in seconds. The whole team. The Shadow Wind debuff is resurrected, and even the 900 plus permanent roll of agility cannot be tolerated, and the data is lost. Luo Lizhi's purple gauze robe is soaked with cold sweat. Her staff's knuckles are white and her purple eyes are scanning the abyss in panic. Sister Wan. The Tentacle C fusion player Boss Pre. The Thermal Trigger Alliance buff increases all attributes by 30%. Chu Tian GM's backdoor projection core area is hidden. The live barrage avalanche queen squad meet sauce time. The stability is 57%. The whole server GG. The black market for artifacts is open. Lin Yiyan's dagger rotation lag debuff. Haunted, her ghostly figure was blurred and she gritted her teeth and gasped. The information is messed up. The guard leader Blood Shadow Slaughter has a full-level assassin's agility of 1300, and the 20-person mage group in the back row has 500,000 magic damage per hit. Our agility of 1100 has dropped by 40% and there is no way to kill. Wan retreat. The cracks in Lu Ting's red gold battle armor spread and made a crack sound. He leaned his battle axe on the ground against the tremors of the abyss. The blue veins in his big hands popped out, and his domineering eyes shattered into despair. All the resources of my guild were destroyed. The red gold turret X10 opened fire to counterattack, and the god-level blood bottles were 3,400. Plus airdrop, but hundreds of elites plus thousands of troops. Queen, the cracks on the edge of the floating island are expanding, and the drop data will be lost forever. Old thief Chu Tian, is it not enough to eliminate the inner ghosts? The World Channel volcano erupted, and hundreds of millions of players barraged. The Frostblade Queen transferred to the Void Sword Master. So what? It's a blast to challenge 5 elites. Now the 100-man guard plus boss is warmed up. The stability is 57%. The server is stuck. Chu Tianshan assists. The live broadcast camera cuts into the abyss. The monster kneels and licks the black market artifact. Chu Tian's avatar is floating in the whole screen, and the red cloak is twisted. Rugi. Su Wan, I have prepared a copy of the Key to the Void. The elite guard leader Bloodshadow has a combat power of 15 million, and the Tentacle C fusion debuff. The stability will drop by 2% per second. You will take the blame for the whole server crashing. Kneel down and step on your feet for the glory of the first kill. Su Wan locked her cold eyes on the black tide of the abyss, and her heart felt like thousands of needles piercing her bones. The combat power of 5,089,500 sword domain group control crushed 5 elites, which was the limit. The dense formation of a 100-man guard had an agility of 1200 plus, and the boss had an agility of 1300 to break through the void and kill continuously. If the stability of 57% drops below 50%, the bug effect data will be lost and the whole team will be reset to 0. Chu Tian's remote projection hides the GM's backdoor. Attacking the altar will trigger the boss to fully awaken and be swallowed by a sea of 50 billion blood tentacles. Where is the breakthrough? The sword of the void hummed low and the smell of ozone magic hit her nose. The ghost crystal data and shadow wine flashed through her mind to lock the weak points. The second guardian key material void crystal marrow x3 fusion channel secrets. Outwheat. Sacrifice the forwards for a backline blast. Luo Lizhi freezes to control the field. Lin Yuan intercepts the information and takes the boss to cast the key to ensure stability. The psychological game changes rapidly. The risk of rushing into the formation is 80%, but the key defense plus 25% has a reversal probability of 65%. The threat of Chu Tian replica is late, delaying the boss warm-up. Worth it. Her Frostblade whispered Void Sword Master Skill Tree expansion. Sword Domain Chain upgrade. Control 10 targets. Slow down 90%. The Void Wings lightly fanned the electric arc and backfired the burning wing membrane, and the cold voice team channel was like a frost blade cutting through iron. Lu Ting. The forward rushes into the tank and tops the heavy cavalry. The red gold turret locks the back row mages. Lin Yuan stealth and kill the archers cut off the agility of the arrows. Luo Lizhi. The range of the ice tentacle C debuff. The whole team's resistance is full. The scouts are divided into 2 wings, and I kill the boss directly. The second key is cast, the stability is reversed. The whole server live broadcast proves that the queen will not kneel. Lu Ting's eyes were full of passion, and he smashed the battle axe with his big hand to summon the guild. Queen command. I'll have 20 tanks in the front. Full charge of red gold turret x10. Blast the mage in the back row. The entire guild's resources are under pressure, and super-calculated airdrops are available to resist the BOS. Shield scroll rush, but the boss has 1300 agility. The queen goes straight to it. God. Lin Yuan blinked and became invisible. The dagger infused the crystal core with agility of 1100 plus debuff, and her figure was blurred and whispered. Wan is a handsome archer 20. Explosive kill, intelligence first. Luo Lizhi's staff hit the ground and purple light exploded, and the star-frozen Kerala warmed up the range to control the field. Her purple eyes trembled in admiration. The ice debuff slows down by 90% plus freezes the tentacles. Sister Wan Sword Master locks the boss, open. The battlefield breaks out. Lu Ting's forward 20 tanks rushed into the formation with a bang. The heavy cavalry shield hit the ground and shook with a dong-dong, and the axe light was like a dragon, killing the heavy cavalry. 800,000. Tanks can reduce damage by 90%. But the elite guards counterattacked, and the first round of heavy artillery boom 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 rained down meteorites. Rocks exploded and fragments hissed like knives scratched the armor. The tank's health bar dropped by 40%, and the debuff poisoning stacked up to 100,000 per second. A tank knelt on its knees, coughing up blood and smoke, choked with tears and screamed. Heavy artillery penetrated. The combat power of 8 million cannot withstand it, and the queen's forward sacrificed. The world live broadcasts bombarded. Guild conflict god war. Lu Ting's tank collided with hundreds of elites, and the queen's layout outsmarted her? The stability is 55%, and the whole server is hotly discussing the psychological game of the Frostblade Queen, reversal or GG? Chu Tian grinned at the whole channel. Old dog Lu Ting, just a forward human shield. The blood shadow kills the queen instantly. Su Wan had a cold calculation in her mind. The forward sacrificed in order to control the field for 3 seconds. The leader blood shadow Kwangtu's agility of 1300 locked on his own body and swished double dagger attack. The poisonous light buzzed and the smell hit his face. Her void wings teleport at 5 times the speed of buzz. The attack speed of Frost Bladestorm is 1499%. The sword field opens the Black Star River and pours pap pap pap, chains to wrap around 10 targets, slowing down by 90%. The leader's dagger was sluggish and his legs were weak and his eyes widened. Void Sword Realm? I turned into a turtle with 1300 agility and controlled 10 people to ignore the formation. Su Wan's main sword shadow and 10 clones appeared together, slashing clang 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 10 times in a row with thunder explosions. Dish 1 Chain critical strike is doubled by 450%. 2000000. Weakness 10 consecutive output doubled. The boss's health bar is instantly empty, and the corpse explodes with the second Guardian Key Core, Blood Shadow Crystal Core X1 plus an avalanche of legendary materials. The scout team followed up with round eyes, jealous screams, and weak legs. Queen singled out the boss for an instant kill. Sword Domain Control 10 plus consecutive kills ignores 1300 agility. 15 million combat power is as strong as paper. Our assassin guild all kneels down, and the screen recording shocks the entire server. Lin Yian broke out in stealth, and the dagger swish serially assassinated the back row archers. Dash 1-200-000. Critical hits ignore distance. 10 archers had empty health bars, and the arrow rain was cut off and they screamed. Shadow Thorn. Agility 1120 bow kills, intelligence broken. Our critical hit is 500% blind. Luo Lizhi sealed Kalala exploded in range, and the Sea of Tentacles was frozen and slowed down by 90%. The teacher's stars exploded and the spell damage returned to 0. She gasped in ecstasy. Ice controls the field. All debuffs are defeated, and Sister Wan's key is in hand. Lu Ting's axe hit the last hit and he rode again, and the red gold turret boom blasted the back row mages. 3000000. Penetration. 20 mages were reduced to ashes, and the gunpowder smoke filled the air with a burning smell that stung their nostrils. The elite guards were in chaos, with 50+ casualties among hundreds of people. The remnants of the party retreated and screamed. The boss is killed instantly? The Queen's Sword Saint Domain. The layout is to crush, retreat. The system's golden light reaches the sky. Su Wan directed the killing of the elite guard leader Blood Shadow Quangtu, and the second guard key was successfully cast. The defense value soared by 25%, and the stability reversed by plus 10% to 67%. The Sword of the Void is fused with the Blood Shadow Crystal Core. All attributes are plus 15%. The sword domain controls 15 targets, and the speed is reduced by 95%. Combat strength increased to 5,800,000. Server-wide announcement. The Frostblade Queen fights back, guild conflicts become gods, and the competitive rankings stabilize at the top. The World Channel wailed and turned to worship. Queen's god of psychological game. The layout sacrifices the forwards for instant kills, and the defense plus 25% stability is restored. Hundreds of Chu Tian guards GG. And the live broadcast is hotly discussing a team with a reward of 1 billion. Luo Lizhi scanned the edge of the crystal core fusion altar, and the purple light pulsed in the secret passage. The keys are all together. The bug is purified by 50%, and the risk of data loss is reduced, but the third layer of the Abyss bug effect is activated, and the player's health bar is weakened and lost by 5%. The emotional bond deepened, Su Wan's lips slightly raised, and the void wings lightly touched Lu Ting's arm. The scout team whispered in admiration. Queen laughs? The main line of the Lu League has made an appointment, and the CP Hot discussion forum is number 1. The whole team shared the spoils, laughing and making noises. Players on the edge of the floating island's cracks watched from a distance and shouted, "Team up! The Queen will fly, stability saves the whole server." Luo Lizhi snickered at the crystal core, and the system dinged continuously and became famous. The resting atmosphere was warm and homely. Suddenly, the abyss was shaken rumblingly, and the final guardian boss, Lord of the Void, flashed with red light. A sea of tentacles with a health bar of 80 billion appeared and merged with the remaining party members. The system alerted. The Lord of the Void is fully awakened. All attributes plus 50%. Void devouring debuff data is lost by 50% per hit. The projection of Chu Tian's true form appeared in the core area. The red-cloaked hunter held a replica of the artifact key to the pseudo-void, and breathed out black light. His combat power reached 3 million and he challenged with a ferocious smile. Su Wan, the replica versus the real thing. Challenge the gods in a one-on-one challenge. If the stability drops again, the whole server will see you kneel down. The Sword of the Void and the pseudo-key hummed in confrontation, and the crisis reignited. At the edge of the abyss altar, the black mist was like 10,000 pythons dancing wildly, and the smell of sour and rotting blood mixed with the burnt smell of molten metal penetrated straight into the nose and made people's stomachs churn. The Void Lord's red light pulses buzzing like a beating heart. The sea of tentacles gulu squirms and merges with the remaining party members. A huge health bar of 80 billion appears. All attributes plus 50% buffs flash with gold edges. The Void Devouring debuff warms up and loses 50% of the data per hit, and the system alarm echoes harshly. Stability dropped by 5% to 62%. The countdown to collapse core is 68 hours and 50 minutes, and the risk of player data loss is plus 25%. The projection of Chu Tian's true form materialized, and the Crimson Cloak Hunter swelled. He held the key to false space and breathed out black light like a black hole whirlpool. The deficit of 3 million combat power soared. The GM backdoor upgraded the teleportation ban and locked the secret passage. The black tide of 1,000-man army merged with the rumbling. The red light from the muzzle of the heavy artillery pulsated and gained momentum. The elite guard remnants of the 100-man tank had a combat power of 8 million plus the Crimson Cloak Hunter. Chu Tian's evil smile twisted like a ghost, and the whole channel exploded with ridicule. Su Wan, what about the genuine key of the void? I have a GM backdoor copy with an attack speed plus 1,200%, black light devouring, ignoring 99% damage reduction, and a combat power of 3 million. You have 5 million. The main force of the Sky Guild is 500 people. The heavy cavalry tank reduces the damage by 95%. The magic damage of the group of mages is 600,000 per hit, and the agility of the assassin is 1,250 group stabs. The whole server will watch your data loss and lick the black market. With a wave of his hand, the main force of the guild instantly teleported to the core area with a whoosh whoosh. A sea of 500 people in black armor surged. The heavy cavalry shield array hit the ground with a dong dong and shook the floating island. The mage's staff held high in the starburst preheated 800,000/hit, and the bow and stab mix debugging. FF poisoning stacks up to 150,000 per second. The Deputy Sky Vault Ironblood has a full-level tank combat power of 2,500,000 red gold shield buzzing and reduces damage by 98%. The Assassin's Deputy General has agility of 1280, and the dagger's poisonous light flashes to lock Su Wan. The faces of the 54 people in the team were as pale as paper. A scout's legs went weak and he knelt down. His health bar was weakened and lost 8%. He burst into tears and the channel collapsed and screamed, "My Lord Chu Tian!" The main force is surrounded by an army of 500,000+ people. The false key black light swallows the debuff data and loses 50% per hit. The stability is 62%, shaking and freezing. Our agility is 900. The permanent volume cannot withstand the group of thorns, and the data is forever weak. Luo Lizhi's purple gauze robe is soaked in cold sweat, her knuckles are white, her staff is trembling, and her purple eyes are scanning in panic. Sister Wan! The GM backdoor anti-stealth detection is fully activated, Lin Yuan's stealth is disabled, the mage's starburst OE spell damage is 800,000, and the Void Lord's tentacle fusion main buff is plus 60%, boss summons to warm up. There is no way to escape. Lin Yuan's dagger spins sluggishly, the ghostly figure is blurred and gasps, the health bar is 5% blurred. The intelligence is blocked. The Deputy's Iron Blood reduces the damage by 98%, blocking the way the Chu Tian fake key confronts the real one. The agility is 1100 plus, and there is no way to kill the Deputy. Wan, what a crisis. The cracks in the golden battle armor spread crack, and the veins in his big hands popped when he leaned on the ground with his battle axe, and his domineering eyes were shattered and livid with despair. My guild's resources have been smashed. The Red Gold Fort X10 has 5 remaining charges, but the main 500+ 1,000-man army heavy artillery is locked, and the pseudo-key 3 million combat power is swallowed up. The Queen. The cracks on the floating island are expanding and dropping data GG. The World Channel volcano erupted, and hundreds of millions of players barraged like meteorites. Frostblade Queen GG time. Chu Tian's true self presses against the false key artifact duel. The stability is 62%. The whole server freezes and collapses. The countdown is 68 minutes. The live broadcast camera cuts to the core area. The main force of Skydome is crushed by 500 people. So what if the Queen's Sword Saint Sword domain control 15? 50% of the data is lost. One hit in seconds. Black market artifacts are going crazy. With a reward of 2 billion sets, the team stepped on the Queen. The barrage avalanche of Chu Tian Overlord is nothing. The main force is 500 plus fake key 3 million. The Queen is kneeling down to take the blame. Chu Tian's full-screen avatar is floating, the black light of the fake air key is sizzling, and the smell of ozone is in his nose. Su Wan, kneel down to fight against the gods. My replica will destroy your real one, and the Voidmaster will join forces to devour the entire team's data. Su Wan's cold eyes locked on the black light of the pseudo-key, and her heart felt like thousands of needles piercing her bones. Combat power 5,800,000, sword domain control 15, slowdown 95%, crushing the boss limit, Chu Tian 3 million plus main force 500 heavy cavalry mages mixed. Pseudo-key devouring ignores damage reduction data and losing 50%, stability 62%. If the bug effect below 60% is lost, the whole team will be reduced to 0. Voidlord's 80 billion blood tentacle sea crushes the realm. Break. The ghost crystal data in the flash of the mind locks the GM's backdoor. Weakness. The pseudo-key crystal core is unstable. The attack speed is 1,499%, and the probability of breaking through the defense is 65%. Sacrifice the turret and switch to the offhand for a blast kill. Luo Lizhi counter-controls the mage. Lin Yuan cuts off the iron blood. Lu Ting's tank is the main force, and my Swordmaster's trump card Void Sword Rain plus Dominator Fusion goes straight to Chu Tian. The risk is 75%, but the third key defense plus 35% reverses 80% worth it. The Sword of the Void murmured and merged with the Blood Shadow crystal core, and the black light was strong. She whispered with the Frost Blade, Ultimate Void Swordmaster. Sword domain chain limit upgrade controls 20 targets. Slows 99% plus sword rainy instant kill 95%. Overlord effect devours the rebound debuff. Wings of the Void lightly fan the arc sizzling burning pain. The cold voice team channel slash like a frost blade tie. Lu Ting tank 20 eternal top heavy cavalry iron blood. Red gold turret to lock the group of mages. Lin Yuan stealth to restrain the deputy general and break the shield. Luo Lizhi anti-control starburst debuff. Rebound the Void to devour. The scout detours to cut off the back row. My sword rain goes straight to the Chu Tian false key. The third key explodes. The stability is conferred. Live broadcast on the whole server. The Queen's revenge. The passion in Lu Ting's eyes was as hot as lava. He smashed the battle axe with his big hand and summoned the guild. The Queen's plan. I'll always have 500 tanks as the main force. There are 5 bombardment mages left in the red gold turret. Supercomputer airdrop shield roll X30 plus anti-devouring talisman X100. The red gold turret rumbling golden light fell and the muzzle buzzed. The scout's health bar was instantly reduced to half, and a tank wiped away tears and its legs went weak. The rich leader. The anti-devouring talisman lost 20% of the data, and the shield was 95% and the forward charged. Iron-blooded but Chu Tian's 3 million fake keys. Queen's Sword Rain, amazing operation. Lin Yuan blinked and injected the ghost crystal into her body, to quickly gain 1150 plus GM restraint. Her figure was blurry and whispered. Wan is handsome and explosive. Lieutenant General Iron-blooded kills. Prioritize breaking the shield. Luo Lizhi's staff hit the ground and burst out with purple light, and counter-controlled the Ice Kalula to warm up the range, and the rebound debuff locked the mage group, and her purple eyes trembled in admiration. Sister Wan Swordmaster's limit control is 20, let's do it. Battlefield hell breaks out. Lu Ting's forward 20 tanks rushed towards the iron-blooded heavy cavalry with a bang. The shield hit with a dong-dong. The ground shook and the axe light was like a dragon slashing. 900,000. Tanks can reduce damage by 90%. But the main force counterattacked. Heavy artillery boom boom boom. Fire rain meteorites smashed down the rocks and exploded debris, scratched the armor and the smell was choking. The tank's health bar dropped by 50%, and the swallowing debuff data lost 20% of the superimposition. A tank knelt down and coughed up blood. The The smoke filled the air and screamed. Iron blood reduces damage by 98%. The main force is 500 strong. The fake key is gathering momentum, and the queen tank is sacrificed. The world live broadcast bombarded the audience. War of revenge. Lu Ting's tanks collided with the main force in the sky, and the queen's sword master's trump card? The stability is 60%. The whole server is hotly discussed. Chu Tian smiled grimly and waved the fake key. Lu Ting is useless. With iron blood, he will kill the queen instantly. Su Wan had a cold calculation in her mind. The tank was sacrificed for 5 seconds. The black light of Chu Tian's pseudo-key buzzed to lock the teleportation attack, and the stench of the swallowing black hole hit the face with a combat power of 3 million, pressing down on the situation. Her void wing speed is 5 times plus invisible for 30 seconds with a buzz flash. Frost blade storm attack speed is 1499%, and the sword field is at its limit and the Black Star River is pouring out. Chu Tian's pseudo-key's legs were sluggish, his legs were weak, his eyes widened and he smiled stiffly. The void sword domain's limit control is 20? I have an attack speed of 1200 and become stationary, ignoring the main formation. 10 clones of Su Wan sword shadow appeared plus master fusion, the void sword rain crash, and the black light rain poured down, and the Ui instantly killed 95%. -2 500 000. The sword rain critical strike is doubled by 450% and ignores the devouring. 3 200 000. Weakness. Double the output plus rebound debuff for 10 consecutive kills. Chu Tian's health bar instantly dropped by 40%, and the cracks in the pseudo-key core were exposed. His deputy, the iron-blooded heavy cavalry, stared in fear. Queen's sword rain 95% in seconds? Control 20, ignore damage reduction 98%. Our 2.5 million is like paper. Lin Yuyan's stealth attack broke out, and the dagger swish serially assassinated the iron-blooded deputy general, -1. 500 000. The inner ghost crystal suppresses critical hits and ignores shields. Iron-blooded shield exploded and the health bar was empty. Corpse explosion legendary talisman plus void crystal marrow x2. The main heavy cavalry broke the shield and screamed. The deputy general killed instantly. 1150 agility blast 98% damage reduction. Intelligence cut off our critical hit to 0. Luo Lizhi counter-controlled the frozen Kerala. Range explosion, and the mage stars exploded. After the rebound, 50% of the data was lost and devoured by the void, and she gasped in ecstasy. Counter god of control. All debuffs are fired. Sister Wan's sword rain rains down on Chu Tian. Lu Ting's axe-striking last-ditch attack remounted the main force, and the red gold turret blasted the mage group with a boom-boom. -4 00000. Hui penetration 95%. 50 mages were reduced to ashes and filled with smoke and bloody stench. The main force was in chaos, with 500 casualties and 60-plus remnants retreating and screaming. The deputy general killed with explosive force? Queen's sword domain plus sword rain crushed him. The pseudo-key crystal core cracked. Retreat. The red line of Chu Tian's blood bar trembled, and the black light of the false key backfired and burned his arms. He roared and teleported back to the black hole to swallow Sanashwan. 0000000. 30% data loss. But Su Wan sword master's trump card exploded. The void sword fused 3 keys to prepare for the golden light to reach the sky. The domination effect rebounded plus the sword rain's final strike. Clang song song song. 20 consecutive thunder explosions. -5 0000000. Dominate devouring rebounds 450% and doubles the critical hit. 6 500 000. The false key breaks the anti-crystal core and doubles the output, ignoring the GM backdoor. The key of the false sky bombed and exploded with black light and shattered into fragments like a shower of stars. Chu Tian's blood bar suddenly widened his eyes and twisted in despair. Impossible. The real sword rain breaks the false key? I have 3 million plus main GG data. The third guardian key core of the corpse explosion vault sky crystal core X1 plus GM backdoor crystal X3 plus an avalanche of mythical materials. The whole server live broadcast freezes, and the barrage turns from petrification to madness. The queen destroyed the fake artifact with one sword. Instantly killed Chu Tian's 3 million. Sword domain control 20 plus sword reign 95% of the magic operation in seconds. Revenge and become a god. The golden light of the system shoots into the sky. Ding. Su Wan's god-level operation killed Chu Tian and main deputy Tian Chong Iron Blood. And the third guardian key was successfully cast. The defense value soared by 35%. And the stability reversed from plus 15% to 77%. The Sword of the Void merges with the crystal core of the sky. All attributes are plus 80%. Sword domain control 25 target slowdown is 99.9%. Sword rain kills 98% instantly. 15 consecutive slashes double the critical hit by 500%. And dominates rebound debuff is 100%. Combat power increased to 10,400,000. Announcement for the whole server. The Queen of Frostblade takes revenge, destroys the counterfeit key and kills the old enemy. The myth will always be suppressed in the competitive list. And the reputation legend plus myth will be ranked first in the whole server. Experience plus 800% accumulation. Total value increased by 80%. The world channel wailed and turned into a worship frenzy. The queen is so happy. The psychological game plus trump card sword rain broke through 3 million fake artifacts. The stability was reversed by 77%. Chu Tian Tianqiong Guild collapsed, and the black market closed down. The live broadcast viewing exceeded 5 billion, and the bounty of 5 billion worshipped the team. Passers-by players shouted wildly on the public channel. Queen of the Sword Master. Control 20, ignore 500 main force. Instantly kill Chu Tian and record the screen loop. We all kneel down and lick the monster with a combat power of 10 million. Luo Lizhi scanned the core of the crystal core fusion altar, and the purple light flourished. 3 keys together. The bug is purified by 80%, and the risk of data loss is reduced to 5%, but the Lord of the Void summons a full copy of the Defenders, and the Sea of Tentacles expands. The team avoided the black tide of the remnant party and went straight to the core altar. The black mist became thicker and bloody, and the rock wall pulsed with dong dong. Lu Ting protected Su Wan's waist with his big hands and roared passionately. Queen's dominance. I will always be the leader and go straight to the core of the collapse. Lin Yan blinked and pushed Su Wan and secretly rejoiced. Wan's magic sword rain is so handsome. Chu Tian Hui Fei's revenge is complete. The scout team's eyes widened with jealousy and their legs softened in admiration. The queen's data has increased by 80% and her combat power is 10 million. Our permanent role will be in vain, and we will be the first in the server to live forever. The team avoided the black tide of thousands of people. Su Wan commanded to sneak into the edge of the altar in a roundabout way. The black fog became more sour and smelly, and the rock wall pulsed like the dong-dong of the heart. The first mage who was scouting suddenly lost 10% of his health bar. He glared and felt his legs weak in fear. Bug effect. Data is lost. Our method is damaged by 20%. The whole server is in crisis. Lu Ting protected Su Wan's waist with his big hands and growled emotionally. Queen's dominance. I'll keep the tank and sneak into the core. Lin Yan blinked and pushed Su Wan, secretly cheering. Wan is resourceful. Chu Tian's projection's weakness is exposed. Luo Lizhi's purple eyes were alert. The boss at the edge of the altar is warming up. Deep in the core altar, the black mist was like thousands of insects eating bones, and the pungent stench of rich blood mixed with electromagnetic burning rushed directly to the forehead, making people retching in their throats. The floating island trembled violently, rumbling. The cracks in the rock wall spread like a spider web. The Void Master's health bar of 80 billion gold edge flashed with all attributes plus 70% buff violently pulsing, and the Sea of Tentacles galoo churned and merged. Thousands of people are defending the black tide. Elite monsters have a combat power of 5 million plus tanks reduce damage by 92%. Mages have a group of magic damage of 500,000/hit. Assassins have agility of 1100 stings, and the debuff data per second is lost by 30% and stacks up to 100%. The system alarm is like a howling ghost that pierces the eardrums. The stability is 77% and has dropped by 3% to 74%. The countdown to collapse core is 59:59. Thousands of defenders in the entire dungeon are on the territory. The void-swallowing wave is warming up, and the risk of permanent loss of player data is plus 40%. The sea of black armor of the defenders on the edge of the floating island surged with a rumbling, the heavy artillery buzzed to lock in the red light burst, and the heavy cavalry shield array dong dong hit the ground. The seismic wave made the 54 people in the team float, and the health bar collectively weakened by 10%. A scout's legs went weak and he knelt down. His eyes were bulging with tears and mixed blood silk was spraying wildly. The channel collapsed and screamed. 10,000 people are in the dark. The defender's elite tank has 5 million damage reduction and 92% forward. The mage's starburst is 500,000/hit AoE. The assassin's agility is 1,100 and cuts off the back row. Our anti-devouring talisman is only reduced by 20%. The data loss is superimposed and the leg is broken. Queen, there is no way to retreat. Dominate the sea of tentacles. Fusion buffs all plus 80%. The stability is 74%. The whole server is stuck GG. Luo Lizhi's purple robe was soaked with cold sweat. Her knuckles crunched and turned white. Her purple eyes scanned the defender's data. Her pupils shrank and she gasped in panic. Sister Wan! Thousands of defenders teleported to block 3 sides of the altar. The void-devouring debuff preheating range was 5 kilometers. The mage's counter-control failed, and Lin Yuyan's stealth detection was fully activated. The boss summoned the second wave with 80 billion health bars. Immobile as a mountain, we can damage 300,000 people /hit like an itch. It's a desperate situation. Lin Yuyan's dagger rotated sluggishly. Her ghostly figure was blurred and her health bar was reduced by 12%. She gritted her teeth and roared with beads of sweat rolling down her face. Information is sealed. The defender's combat power is 8 million, and the void talisman reduces damage by 95%. His agility is 1150 and he can't withstand a group of stabs. The poison stack is 200,000 per second. The whole team's data is lost forever. Kaka was covered with cracks, and the veins on the ground where he leaned his battle axe exploded like steel, and the domineering look in his eyes was shattered by despair. The 10 men left in the forward tank of my guild will always be the main force. The red gold turret is locked with X5 charge, but the defender's heavy artillery is counterpressing, and the supercomputer airdrop shield roll X20 resistance plus 50% cannot withstand the black tide of tens of thousands of people. Queen, the cracks in the floating island are expanding and falling into the void, dominating the situation completely, and all the resources are GG. The world channel is like a volcano erupting with lava, and hundreds of millions of players are barraging meteorites to hit the screen. The end of the Frostblade Queen. It's not enough for Chu Tian to turn to ashes. She dominates the black tide of 80 billion plus 10,000 defenders, with a stability of 74%. The whole server shakes and collapses with a countdown of 60 minutes. The live camera cuts to the altar, so what if the Juggernaut's combat power is 10 million monsters? The void swallows wave-second data, and a bounty of 10 billion is offered to step on the Queen's black market recovery. Burn! The barrage in the live broadcast room burst into laughter. The sky collapsed and the tank sea was reduced by 92%. The Queen's sword domain control 25 can't stand up to thousands of people. The whole server is crying. The passersby on the public channel cried out. The Queen's dream of becoming a god is broken. The debuff stack of the black tide for thousands of people is 100%, and the data is lost and the equipment is gone. The Lord of the Void's red eyes were as high as the blood moon, and he roared like thunder tore through the void boom. The sea of tentacles cracked rock fragments with a snap bang and hissed and burned the sky. The leader of the defenders in the crimson cloak smiled ferociously and taunted the whole channel. Queen of the Frostblade, so what if the 3 keys are complete? The complete body of the Lord summons 10,000 of us. The void-devouring debuff data is lost by 50% per wave, and the tank's damage is reduced by 92%. Eternal Top, the assassin's agility of 1100 will cut off your back row. The mage's starburst will destroy your team for 500,000 seconds. The server crashes and you will be buried forever. With a wave of his hand, the black wave of tens of thousands of people teleported and surrounded them. The heavy cavalry tanks dong dong dong. The shield array pressed down on the earthquake floating island tilted. The mage's staff held high the starburst boom. To warm up the golden light, The heavy artillery boom fire rain meteorite fell down. The gunpowder smoke filled the nose with the smell of scorched earth. Su Wan locked eyes like frost blades at the core of the altar, and her heart was piercing with thousands of needles. Combat power 10,400,000. Sword domain control 25. Slowdown 99.9%. Sword rain instant kill 98%. Ultimate pressure Chu Tian. Tens of thousands of defenders. Black Tide fusion master buff. All attributes plus 80%. Void swallowing wave AoE data loss of 50%. Stability 74%. If dropped below 70%, the whole team will be defocused and return to zero. Break. The 3 key flashes in the mind are fused with the sky crystal core. Weaknesses. The crystal wall of the altar is unstable. The Juggernaut's trump card Void Judgment has a preloaded attack speed of 1,699% and 20 consecutive kills, breaking the defense by 80%, and the AoE devouring rebound by 150%. Sacrifice the turret plus tank to change the control field. Luo Lizhi counter-controls the mage. Lin Yiyan kills the boss. Lu Ting takes the heavy cavalry. My sword domain chain reaches the limit plus guilty verdict and goes straight to the altar. The risk is 85%, but the 4th crystal core defense plus 50% reverses 95%. Worth it. The sword of the void whispers 3 keys. The golden light soars into the sky. The black light flourishes, fuses the blood shadow and the sky crystal core. Her frost blade whispers, the ultimate evolution of the Void Sword Master. Void Judgment Sword Domain Chain Control 30 Targets Slowdown 99.99%. Sword Rain Ultimate Instant Kill 99.5%. 20 consecutive critical hits 600% doubled. Dominator Rebound Debuff 150%. The only source of swallowing altar crystal wall explosion bug. Void Wings. The fanning arc sizzled and burned the skin, and the cold voice of the team channel was like a verdict. Lu Ting 10 tanks will always be the leader of the heavy cavalry, and the red gold fort will blast the mages. Lin Yiyan, the inner ghost crystal restrains the assassin. Shield. Luo Lizhi counter-control star burst debuff. Rebound the void devouring wave. I'll detour to protect the altar. I'll break the crystal wall, and the stability will be immortalized. The emotion in Lu Ting's eyes was like lava boiling and exploding. He smashed the battle axe with his big hand and summoned the guild on full frequency. Queen God condemns the crime. My tanks will always be able to withstand the black tide of tens of thousands of people. Red Gold Fort Shield X20 reduces damage by 95%. The red gold turret rumbling golden light fell and the gun muzzle buzzed and locked. The scout's health bar was instantly filled and cleared, and a tank wiped out the blood and screamed frantically. The leader's divine supplement. The resistance to swallowing is reduced by 10%, and the shield is 95%. 10,000 people, but the boss is worth 8 million. The queen is guilty, and the monster is controlled by God. Lin Yiyan blinked and the ghost stealth agility increased to 1250 plus ghost crystal restraints. She evaporated and whispered happily. The boss's shield exploded. Luo Lizhi's staff hit the ground and purple flames exploded. The range of the counter-control void ice Kalalala expanded wildly, and the rebound debuff locked thousands of mages. The purple eyes trembled and worshipped. Counter-control devouring wave 150%. Sister Wan sword master control 30. Start slaughtering. The battlefield purgatory explodes. The 10-man Lu Ting tank charged at the heavy cavalry leader with a rumble, and the shield hit the dong 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 floating island, shattering the axe, blazing the dragon and slashing 200,000. Tank damage reduction is 95% forever. But the black tide counterattacked. Heavy artillery boom, boom, boom. Fire rain and meteorites fell like the apocalypse. Lava sprayed and hissed. The smell of burnt meat hit your nose. The tank's health bar dropped by 70%, and the debuff data of the devouring wave lost 15% and superimposed. A tank knelt down and exploded, coughing up blood and smoke, choking his lungs and screaming. The boss's damage has been reduced by 95%. Thousands of people are pressing down. The void wave is gathering momentum, and all the tanks are sacrificed. The world live broadcast barrage exploded. Battle of the God of Judgment. Lu Ting's tank hit the black tide of 10,000 people. The Queen's Sword Master's new skill? The stability is 72%. The whole server GG is hotly discussing. The leader of the defenders smiled ferociously and waved his shield. Lu Ting bug. Tanks hold on, swallow the queen of waves. Su Wan's mental arithmetic was cold. The tank changed for 8 seconds, the boss's shield buzzed, to lock the teleportation attack, and the devouring black hole putridness hit his face with a combat power of 8 million, pressing down on the situation. Her void wing speed is 6 times plus she is invisible for 45 seconds with a buzzing flash. Her frost blade judgment attack speed is 1699% and she is charging up, and her sword domain chain is at its limit and the black light galaxies are pouring out. Pap 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 pap, locks 30 targets and slows them down by 99.99%. The boss's shield was sluggish, his legs were weak, his eyes were bulging and he was petrified with a grin. Void sword territory control 30? I have 1100 agility to transform into a worm, and I can ignore the formation of tens of thousands of people. 15 clones of Su Wan sword shadow exploded plus the 3 key master fusion. The ultimate void sword rain crash la 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 black light rainstorm AoE instant kill 99.5%. -3 500 000. Judgment's critical hit is doubled by 600% and ignores devouring. 4 800 000. The weak point of the crystal wall doubles the output for 20 consecutive cuts plus the rebound debuff is 150%. The boss's health bar instantly emptied. The defender's shield array collapsed, and his corpse exploded with an avalanche of void crystal marrow X5 plus mythical amulet. Thousands of people were screaming in fear. The boss will be killed instantly. The sword rain will ignore 99.5% of damage reduction and 95% damage reduction in seconds. Our 5 million is like paper retreat. Lin Yian's stealth and explosive power stabbed the elite assassin group 20 times in a row with her dagger, -2 million. The inner ghost crystal suppresses critical hits and ignores shields. Assassin's 100-man shield exploded and the legendary materials dropped wildly, and the back row broke and screamed, "Assassin broke!" Agility 1250 blast 92% damage reduction. Intelligence critical hit returned to 0. Luo Lizhi counter-controlled the ice-blocking Kalalala, ranged devouring, and the mage's stars exploded and frozen and rebounded. 50% of the airwave data was lost in autophagic. She gasped and burst into tears with ecstasy. The magic counter-control skill. All debuffs are restored. Sister Wan's conviction is overwhelming. Lu Ting replenished his heavy cavalry with an axe, and the red gold turret boom 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 blasted thousands of mages. -5 500 000. Overloaded OE penetration 98%. Mage 500 gray flying blood mist fills the sky with rancid smell. The black tide was in chaos, with tens of thousands of casualties and 70+ remnants fleeing and screaming. Sword domain control 30 bosses? Judgment sword rain seconds 99.5%. Crystal marrow explodes on the altar, and the core of collapse is exposed. The projection of the leader of the remnant army was distorted in despair. His shield shattered and the red line of his health bar trembled. The void wave backfired and burned his arm. He roared and teleported to the black hole to lock Su Wan, 500 000. 20% data loss. But Su Wan's trump card was fully opened. The sword of the void merged with the 3-key golden purple light and soared into the sky. Dominating the rebound plus the final strike of sword rain was clang song 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 song. 30 consecutive thunder explosions. -7 0000000. Dominate devouring rebound 600% critical hit doubled. 9000000. The crystal wall breaks the defense altar and explodes, doubling the output and ignoring the defender's buff. The crystal wall of the altar exploded with a bang, and the black light collapsed and fragments rained down. The remaining army's health bars were collectively empty, and all the defenders in the copy were reduced to ashes. The live broadcast of the whole server was frozen, and the barrage turned to petrification and turned into crazy worship. The queen convicted and massacred 10,000 people. Sword domain control 30+ sword rain seconds 99.5% divine operation. The boss instantly killed the altar and exploded. The peak of godhood. The system's golden purple light explodes into the sky. Su Wan's divine level conviction defeated the 10,000 strong garrison and leader, and the crystal wall of the altar exploded. The void crime sword skill is awakened. All attributes plus 40%. The combat power soared to 14,500,000. Sword domain control 35 slows down 99.999%. Sword rain instantly kills 99.9%. 25 consecutive slashes double the critical hit by 700%. And dominates the rebound by 200%. The source of the bug is exposed. Plugin code is injected into the GM backdoor. Stability reversal plus 20% to 94%. Server-wide announcement. The Queen of the Frostblade will be convicted in a battle. Massacre of thousands of troops will explode on the altar. The seeded players on the competitive list will always be suppressed. And the preliminaries for the national war will begin. Experience plus 1000% accumulation. Total value increased by 120%. World Channel wailed and turned to worship tsunami. The Queen is so happy. The crime-breaking sword rain broke through the black tide of tens of thousands of people. The stability is 94%. And the cheating bug exposed the black market forever. The live broadcast broke 8 billion. And a reward of 20 billion was offered to worship and join the alliance. Passers-by knelt and licked crazily on the public channel. The Sword Master Monster. Control 30 to ignore thousands of troops. The instant kill list screen will cycle forever. The first in the whole server to kneel and lick. The National War Seed Queen is invincible. Lin Yuyan appeared as a ghost, flicking the dagger against the crystal wall, and scanning the remaining information with purple light flashing. She blinked and pushed Su Wan's shoulder with joy. Wan's confession is handsome. The intelligence confirmed that the source of the bug, the plugin code Shadowwind Crystal Lock GM backdoor injection, purified 95% of the data will be preserved forever. My bestie will always follow. Luo Lizhi's purple eyes were full of tears and she scanned the core of the altar. Open all 3 keys. Fusion of conviction. Sister Wan's combat power is 1400. All attributes are plus 40%. The National War Seed is preheating and our coalition forces are all over the server. Lu Ting protected Su Wan's waist and roared fervently. The Queen's dominance has begun. It's worth spending all the resources on the guild's tanks. The scouts stared in jealousy and knelt down in admiration. The Queen's stats have increased by 120% and the combat power has been increased to 14 million. We will give you the mythical talisman for free forever. Suddenly, the Void Master violently shook, rumbling, and the sea of tentacles surged to summon a black tide of 10,000 defenders in all copies. The health bar was 80 billion and all attributes plus 70%. The system alarmed. The countdown to the core of collapse is only 1 hour left. The stability is 77%, but the defenders are under pressure, and the risk of data loss has increased again. The crisis peaks again. The public channel players interacted with each other, and millions of passers-by instantly joined the alliance. The Queen is recruiting. Worship the divine skills of sin-breaking. The National War Seeds form a team of 2 million people. The tanks, wizards and assassins are all in, and we will be the cannon fodder for the preliminaries of the competition. The supercomputer airdropped allies to assist. Boom fell. The high-end supply box plus the mythical scroll avalanche. The team expanded to 1,000 people, and the red gold turret X-20 was overwhelming. The black hole was buzzing like a server abyss, and the evil wave of rotting flesh and blood mixed with electromagnetic burnt stench rushed towards the face, going straight into the nose and making the throats of thousands of people surge. The magma gulu boils and splashes at the edge of the core altar of the floating island. The heat wave burns the air and distorts the vision. The Void Lord's full-body health bar is 80 billion gold pulsating, and all attributes plus 100% buffs are flashing and dazzling. The range of the black hole debuff of the tentacle sea collapse wave is extended to 10 kilometers. The risk of data loss per second is plus 80% superimposed. The system alarm is like the howling of 10,000 ghosts. Stability is 84%. A crazy drop of 5% to 79%. The countdown to collapse core is 59:30. The team's health bar is weakened by 25%, permanent attributes are attenuated by 15%, and player data is at risk of evaporation by 95%. There were only 5 people left in the tank with residual health. Their legs were weak and they knelt down. Their eyes were bloodshot and tears were mixed with sweat. They screamed and collapsed on the public frequency. The master is completely swallowed by the black hole. The data is lost 80% per second. Our resistance plus 50% cannot withstand it. The health bar is reduced to 0 forever GG. Queen, the floating island tilts and the whole army falls into the abyss. The red gold turret X-20 overload melts. Luo Lizhi's purple robe broke into pieces and she was sweating like rain. Her knuckles crunched and turned white. Her purple eyes scanned the black hole data and her pupils shrank suddenly. She gasped in panic. Sister Wan! The debuff is server level locked and counter-controlled. 300,000 magic damage per hit is evaporated. And the stability is 79%. The whole server is stuck and disconnected. The brain is overloaded with intelligence. Lin Yian's dagger Ding Ding fell to the ground and the ghost figure was blurred and the health bar was 35% blurred. She gritted her teeth and roared with beads of sweat rolling down her forehead. Weakness detection failed. Black hole rotten seal information. Agility 1250 turns into a turtle 1. The whole team will lose values forever. Lu Ting's red gold battle armor kaka. All his face cracked. And the veins on the ground exploded like broken iron wires when he leaned on the battle axe. The domineering power in his eyes shattered and he roared in despair. I have smashed all my resources. The supercomputer airdropped Mythic Shield. The world channel is like a nuclear explosion, lava barrage, and meteorites smashing into the screen. Billions of players laugh wildly and say, "Isn't it enough for the Queen of the Frost Blade to kill 10,000 troops?" The Master has lost 80% of its 80 billion plus black hole debuff data. And the stability is 79%. The entire server is disconnected and weeping. The live broadcast camera locks the altar. The Sword Master's combat power is 14 million. The monster cannot withstand the server black hole. A bounty of 30 billion black holes is offered. The Queen's body. The barrage erupted in the live broadcast room. The sky is full of revenge. The Queen's sin-condemning magic weapon has become a joke. And the black hole's second-hand data is a forever artifact. And the national war seeds are shattered. The passerby player on the public channel cried out in a tsunami. The black hole's rotten evaporation equipment, we worship it. And the server with a stability of less than 70% will crash forever. The red-eyed blood moon of the Lord of the Void hangs high, roaring like thunder and shattering the sky. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The black hole of the tentacle sea sucks, hiss, hiss, and pulls the pieces of the player's corpse to fly. And the rain of rotten blood hits the scorched earth with a snap, bang, bang, and smokes. The full-frequency projection taunts and smiles. Frostblade insect, so what if the 3 keys are complete to kill thousands of armies? I am completely the body's black hole devoured 95% of the data forever. All attributes plus 100%, the tentacle sea melted everything. And the stability was 79%. The tentacle whip shadow cracked the edge of the floating island. And the health bar of the 1,000-man army collectively lost 60%. The shields of the 5 tanks exploded and the blood mist filled the air. The scouts were cleared and their screams echoed forever. Su Wan's cold eyes were as frozen as the frostblade, and lightning flashed in her mind. Combat power 14,500,000, sinking sword domain control 35 slowdown 99.999% sword range seconds 99.9% continuous cuts 25 critical hits 700% doubling the rebound 200%, black hole debuff data lost 80%, the pressure bar was blurred. But Void Wing's 6 times faster stealth for 45 seconds plus 3 key fusion penetrated 99.9% defense, breaking the game. Luo Lizhi counter-controlled the source of the debuff, Shadow Wind Crystal, and locked the residual code. Lin Yian stole the weak point crystal core. Lu Ting sacrificed his red gold battle armor to shield the entire army. And the tank switched to control the field and charged up a big move to slash his arm. The risk is 92%, but the stability of the weak point of the broken arm is 98% reversed, worth it. The Sword of the Void hummed with golden purple and black light, and her frost blade judged the crime. Thousands of people in the cold-sounding team frequently announced the verdict. Luo Lizhi counter-control black hole debuff shadow wind crystal lock, purple flame ice source. Lin Yuyan, inner ghost crystal to defeat the weak point and steal the crystal core. Lu Ting, sacrifice the red gold battle armor melts the shield and reduces the damage by 99%, and the tank 5 is always on top of the sea of tentacles. The whole army is ready to resist the devouring, and my sword domain lock is 35 plus the crime killing chain is 25 charges. The arm is cut to explode the weak point, and the stability is confirmed. The national war is broadcast live, and the whole server is witnessing the Queen's dominance. Luo Li's purple eyes turned from panic to tears and burst into tears. Her staff hit the ground with a boom of purple flames that shot up into the sky. She counter-controlled the void to freeze and kalalalala, and frantically locked the source of the black hole. The shadow wind crystal locked the residual code. The debuff rebounded 150% of the self-phagocytic sea of tentacles. Her knuckles trembled and she gasped in admiration. Sister Wan is divinely calculated. Counter control. The crystal lock is successful, the debuff is halved, the data loss is reduced by 40%, and the stability is stopped by 79.5%. The resourcefulness overload value is over. Lin Yian blinked and the ghost stealth agility increased to 1350 plus inner ghost crystal grams, and her dagger swish sneaked into the tentacle gap and stabbed the weak point to 500, 000. 100% crystal core data stealing. The crystal core projection under the master's arm exploded an avalanche of information on weak points. She pushed the air with joy and roared. Wan is so handsome. The weakness is exposed, the core defense of the left arm is minus 80%, the health bar is linked by 20%, and the source of the plug-in Shadow Wind Ultimate Lock is fully opened. My best friend will always steal the gods. The queen obeys. My armor is overloaded with X50 permanent sacrifice. Tanks 5 hit the sea of tentacles to hold up the black hole. The data of the Alliance's 1,000-man army is 95% guaranteed. The red gold shield buzzed, and the golden light covered the whole audience. The battlefield saw 3 waves of purgatory explosions. The first wave of tentacle sea gulu gulu. Black hole sucked an army of thousands of people and slid 10 meters. The rotten blood rain hiss burned the skin tank and reduced the damage by 99% but lost 30% of the blood. Luo Li counter-controlled ice to block 10% of the tentacles. Debuff rebounded and autophagy 500 million blood. The Overlord roared loudly, and the World Live broadcast barrage turned petrified and turned crazy. The Queen counterattacks. Luo Li counter-controls the black hole. Lin Yian steals the weakness. Lu Ting melts the armor shield god. The stability is 79.5% and the bleeding is hot. The second wave of the Overlord's tentacle whip cracked the shield with a pap 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 crack, and the Mage Star explosion counterattacked boom, but the red gold turret X20 overloaded and blasted back. -6, 000,000, penetrates 99% of range. Thousands of people suffered casualties and 20% of the supply box avalanche was resurrected. Lin Yian's intelligence exploded. The left arm's crystal core weak point defense minus 80%. The blood bar of Zhan's linkage dropped like crazy. Lu Ting's tank roared and worshipped. Intelligence God. The shield is 99% for 3 waves, and the queen is charged with guilt. The third wave of black hole debuff peak data lost 60%. The floating island bang tilted the magma to spray a 50-meter high heat wave that choked the lungs. But the stability of the source of the eternal lock of Luo Li's purple flame slowly increased by 80.5%, and the entire army's resistance soared by plus 70%, and the blood value was restored by 40%. Suddenly the Lord of the Void fully activated rumble, rumble, rumble. The health bar was 80 billion, and all attributes were plus 100%. The tentacle sea collapse wave buzzed, released the server-level black hole debuff. The stability was 94%, and dropped by 10% to 84%. The system howled. Collapse wave fully activated. The risk of data loss is plus 80%, and the team is in dire straits. The rotten black hole swallows everything, and the crisis explodes again. Su Wan's Void Wing 6x speed, buzzing mad fan arc burning pain 45 seconds of invisibility, Frostblade Judgment attack speed 1699% Blacklight Galaxy Condensed Sword Domain Chain Limit 35 Target Slowdown 99.999% Lock Left Arm Crystal Core. The Dominator's red eyes are bulging, and the sea of tentacles is whipping in the air. The 25 clones of her sword shadow explode together plus the 3 key domination fusion. The ultimate sword rain in the void is crash la 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 la. The black and purple rainstorm pours 25 consecutive cuts. 700% double the critical hit, -8, 000, 000. Ignore all attributes plus 100% penetration 99.9%. 12500, 000. The weak point of the left arm crystal core's explosion defense -80% is linked to a 15% drop in the blood bar. 15000000. The judgment of Sin will rebound with 200% debuff and self-eating tentacle C. The Dominator's left arm rumble, cuts off the blood mist and explodes into the sky, causing the rancid odor to rise into the sky. The source of the avalanche of crystal core fragments and plugins, the Shadow Wind Ultimate Lock, is fully exposed and the GM backdoor is purified to 100%. The health bar instantly dropped from 12 billion to 68 billion, and the Master roared, distorted the projection and screamed, "Arm-breaking crystal nuclear explosion? Insect sword domain control 35 ignores black holes stability. My weakness will always be exposed." The system's golden-purple light explodes into the sky. Su Wan cut off the Master's left arm, and the weak crystal core exploded and the GM backdoor, the source of the plugin, was purified 100%. The evolution limit of Void Judgment. All attributes plus 50%. The combat power soared to 18 million. Sword domain control 40 slows down 99.9999%. Sword rain instantly kills 99.99%. 30 consecutive slashes double the critical hit by 800%, and dominates the rebound by 250%. Stability reversal plus 25% to 105.5% overload. Server-wide announcement. The Frostblade Queen cut off her arm and exploded the source. Ranked first in the National Warseed list, the competitive live broadcast exceeded 15 billion, and the cumulative value of experience plus 1,500% increased by 200%. 95% of the bug crisis has been resolved, and a new era of servers has begun. World Channel pays homage to nuclear explosion. The Queen's arm cutting is a blast to the galaxy. The combat power is 18 million and the control is 99.99% in 40 seconds. The health bar of 68 billion is controlled. The stability of permanent removal of cheats is 105.5%. Super God. There are 50 million people in the National War Team, worshipping and joining the alliance. A passerby on the public channel was shocked and his legs were weak. The value of the mythical talisman has increased by 200%? The Sword Master X50 will be the cannon fodder forever. Luo Lizhi's purple eyes burst into tears as she admired the crystal core fragment. A masterpiece of arm cutting. Counter control is forever locked. Sister Wan's combat power is 18 million, invincible in the national war, and her brains will always follow. Lin Yiyan appeared as a ghost with a dagger flicking her arm and hugged Su Wan secretly. Steal all the weaknesses. My best friend is so handsome. Bug purification 100% data will be preserved forever. And my best friend who is the best will share the dividends. Lu Ting caressed Su Wan's waist with his big hand, and the magma boiled and whispered wildly. Queen gaining the pinnacle. The 50 million coalition tanks of my guild will receive 100 mythical scrolls from the air, and the national war seeds will be shared. Thousands of troops knelt down with eyes wide open and trembled, and the scouts were filled with jealousy. Void Crystal Essence X10 plus Mythical Amulet X50 plus High-Level Supply Box X200, with a combat power of 18 million, and we have a permanent roll resistance plus 80%. The aftermath of the floating island is calm, the magma is gradually extinguishing, the heat wave has dissipated, the breeze is blowing, the core projection of the altar is stably pulsing with golden light, and the victory fruits of the supercomputer airdrop are falling with a rumbling. The legendary treasure chest X500 opens a heavy rain of artifact fragments, the reputation value exceeds 100 million, the competitive list is permanently suppressed, and the status has been recognized as the Queen of the National War and is recognized by all servers. A passerby player instantly joined the Alliance's 50 million army, and the guild resources doubled. Red Gold Fort Chu Tian's remnant party exploded the altar in revenge, and the secret bomb's preheating stability dropped to 105.5%. The black shadow flickers on the edge, and the crisis is undercurrent. At the edge of the floating island altar, black shadows flickered like ghostly ink, and dozens of full-level assassins from Chu Tian's remnant party twisted and appeared. Their blood-red eyes smiled ferociously, and they held secret bombs that buzzed with red light pulsing to warm up, and the data of each bomb exploded. The stability of the force of 50 billion was reduced, And the collective countdown flashed wildly at 29:59. The rancid black smoke hissed, and mixed with the smell of electromagnetic burns went straight into the nasal cavity. The floating island rocks kick-tack-tack, cracked and tilted, the magma galoo, splashed with heat waves and burned the skin, distorting the vision. The system red alert is as harsh as 1,000 needles pricking the brain, warning. Chu Tian Remnant's Revenge Bomb X-12 is preheated, and the stability is 105.5%, dropped by 8% to 97.5%. The explosion range is 5 kilometers from the core of the altar, data evaporation per second is plus 50%, and the entire server is laggy by 95%. Collapse Core's final knockout clocked in at 29:30. Thousands of soldiers knelt down with weak legs, bloodshot eyes bulging with sweat and tears. The tank's 5-man shield was filled with broken blood mist, and its throat was roaring. The remaining party has stealth, agility, 1400 plus bomb lock altar, 99% damage reduction. The shield cannot withstand the blast wave, and 60% of the data will be lost forever. Queen, float all the troops on the island. RG. Luo Lizhi's purple robe was broken and she was sweating like rain. She pinched her knuckles on her staff and her purple eyes shrank in panic. Sister Wan. The debuff of the bomb's external crystal lock failed. The brain was overloaded and the stability was 97.5%. The whole server was disconnected and cried. Lin Yiyan, the dagger fell to the ground with a trembling ghostly figure, blurred and transformed into a turtle with 1350 agility. She gritted her teeth and roared. Beads of sweat rolled down her forehead, and her health bar was reduced by 10%. The information is blocked. The remaining party's black shadow is rotten and hidden, and the weakness detection returns to 0. Wanwan. The altar will explode forever. Lu Ting's red gold battle armor melted and the residue clicked out. Falling, he leaned his battle axe on the ground and veins exploded. His domineering eyes shattered and he roared in despair. My resources are at the bottom. The Myth Shield X50 overload reduces damage by 99% and melts the black smoke of the bomb. The Tank 5 is always at the top, but the red line of the health bar is shaking. Queen, 30% of the data of the 50 million coalition troops has been evaporated. The hegemony is GG again. The world channel is like a barrage of volcanic lava and meteorites smashing into the screen. Billions of players are laughing like an avalanche. How good is it to kill the Queen of the Frost Blade? The revenge of Chu Tian's remnants of the party is the finale. The stability is 97.5%. The altar is exploded. The data of all servers will never say goodbye to the dream of the artifact. The live broadcast camera is locked in black shadow. The Sword Master's combat power of 18 million monsters cannot withstand the hidden crystal lock, and a bounty of 80 billion of the Black Queen's body is on the table. The barrage in the live broadcast room exploded into a sea of fire. The Sky Dome Immortal. The Remnant's max level assassin X12, 1400 agility, 50 billion explosive power. The Queen's divine skill turns into cannon fodder. The Black Hole's autophagy is not stable enough, and the national war seats are forever trampled. The passerby player on the public channel screamed with wide-eyed eyes and weak legs. The Queen is finished. The rancid black smoke of the remnant evaporates the key to the void. We worship and turn to black fans. The server with a stability below 90% will forever collapse. The red-eyed blood moon of the Lord of the Void twisted and hung high, roaring like thunder and shattering the sky. Boom, boom, boom dash. The sea of tentacles on his right arm gulu-gulu. The black hole's autophagy was weakened, but it sucked wildly, hiss, hiss, and pulled the corpses of the remnants to fly to assist. The rain of rotten blood hit the scorched earth with papa papa. Smoke was rising and black smoke was lingering. The full frequency projection was filled with a sinister smile and taunt. Frostblade insect, chop off the arm. So what if the crystal core explodes? Chu Tian's remnant party bomb locks the altar and melts everything in the tentacles of my right arm. The stability is 97.5% and collapses. The tentacle whip shadow crackled and cracked the edge of the floating island. The health bar of the 50 million coalition forces collectively lost 40%. The tank's 5-man shields exploded and the blood mist filled the air with screams and screams. The scouts were cleared and wailed. Su Wan's cold eyes, frost blade, void sword, roared with golden, purple and black light, and lightning flashed in her heart. She calculated, Combat power 18 million. Sin judging sword. Domain control 40. Slowdown 99.9999%. Sword range seconds 99.99%. 30 consecutive kills. 800% critical hits. Doubling the rebound by 250%. The Remnant Bomb Crystal Lock agility 1400 stealth, but the Void Wings 6x speed stealth for 45 seconds plus 3 key fusion penetration. 99.99% defense breaking. Breaking the game. Lin Yuyan's Ghost Crystal steals the Bomb Crystal Core. Luo Lizhi's Purple Flame freezes the source of the shadow. Lu Ting sacrifices the mythical talisman X50 to shield the entire army. The tank switches to control the field and prepares a big move to cut down the remaining party members who touch the arm. The risk is 88%, but the remnant party will be wiped out. The bomb dismantling stability will be reversed by plus 15%, and the right arm of the ruler will be severed and the god will be sealed. It's worth it. Her Frostblade Judgment Cold Voice Team's 50 million group channel announced the verdict. Luo Lizhi. The source of the black shadow of the remnant party's purple flames to counteract the crystal lock. Lin Yuyan, the inner ghost crystal can stab the weak point and steal the bomb's crystal core, and completely dismantle it. Lu Ting, the mythical talisman X50 melting shield reduces damage by 99.9%. The whole army is ready to resist explosions. I have 40 sword domain locks and 30 charges in a row to kill the party. The Queen of Stability dominates. Luo Lizhi's purple eyes turned from panic to fever and burst into tears. Her staff hit the ground and purple flames exploded into the sky. She counter-controlled the void to freeze and kalalalala. To lock the source of the black shadow crystal lock of the remnants. The debuff rebounded to 200% of the autophagy bomb to warm up. Her knuckles trembled in admiration. Panting and sweat evaporated. Sister Wan God's calculation. The ice crystal lock was successful. The bomb preheating was halved and the stability was stopped by 98%. The resourcefulness is permanent. Lin Yuyan blinked and the ghost stealth agility increased to 1450 plus inner ghost crystal grams. Her dagger swish sneaked into the black shadow gap and stabbed 12 weak points of the remaining party. 3,000,000. 100% crystal core data stealing. Bomb X12 dismantled 100%. The figure of the remnant party exploded into an avalanche of information on weak points. She secretly pushed the air and roared and hugged Su Wan. Wan is so handsome. Steal all the weaknesses. Bomb crystal core defense minus 90%. Stability linkage security. Plug-in remnant source shadow wind lock will be eliminated forever. Best friends share the profits and dominate the industry. Lu Ting's big hand snapped, to tear the mythical talisman X50 molten golden purple, liquid zzz. The shield was fully activated to reduce damage by 99.9%, and avalanche 50 million coalition troops. His veins exploded and he caressed Su Wan's waist with a molten lava roar. The queen obeys the order. My talisman eternal sacrifice shield. The bar stopped turning empty and became full of blood. The scout was resurrected, his eyes rounded, his legs weak, and he knelt down in worship. The blood bar was full. Alliance leader Shen fusion. Damage reduction 99.9%. Black smoke and rancidity plus bomb preheating. The queen is convicted and has a combat power of 18 million invincible monsters. The battlefield saw 4 waves of purgatory explosions. The first wave of black shadows of the remnant party swish. The flash dagger ding 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 stabs the shield crack. The putrid black smoke hisses burns the skin. The tank reduces the damage by 99.9% but loses 20% of the blood. Luo Lizhi's purple flame permanently locks the 10 remnant party. Debuff rebounds and autophagate 100 million blood. The stability of hemostasis is 98.5%. The ruler's tentacle assist roared ear-splittingly. And the world live broadcast barrage turned petrified and turned crazy. The queen counterattacks God. Luo Lizhi froze the shadow. Lin Yuyan stole the crystal core to defuse the bomb. Lu Ting melted the talisman shield in the finale. And the stability was 98.5%. Hot talk about a nuclear explosion. The second wave of remnant bombs preheated and the whip shadow cracked the shield. And the mage's purple flames counterattacked boom boom boom. But the red gold turret X100 overloaded and fired back. -7000000 penetrates 99.9% of the range, and can penetrate the remaining party in 3 seconds. 50 million coalition casualties. 10% supply box avalanche resurrected. Lin Yuyan's intelligence exploded. Bomb crystal core weak point defense -90%. The stability of the demolition will always be guaranteed. Lu Ting's tank roared and his legs weakened, worshipping Han Fei. Intelligence God. 99.9% shield withstands 4 waves, the queen is guilty. The third wave of black hole debuff plus remnant party stacked peak data lost 30%. The floating island rumbling tilted the magma to spurt 80-meter-high heat waves that choked the lungs and flesh, but the stability of the source of Luo Lizhi's purple flames rose slowly by 100%, and the entire army's resistance soared by plus 90%, and the blood value was restored by 50%. The fourth wave of remnants was completely wiped out. Bombing the corpse explosion. The crystal core fragments avalanched. The bomb was 100% dismantled. The black smoke dissipated and the breeze blew. The stability increased sharply from plus 12% to 112%. And the overload was off the charts. The spontaneous onlooker frenzy of players across the server broke the record, and the tsunami of worship on the world channel exceeded 20 billion. Queen of the Frost Blade wiped out the remnants in 4 waves. Frozen Black Shadow plus stealing crystal cores to defuse bombs plus fusion shield. With a combat power of 18 million. Sword Domain is gaining momentum, and the live broadcast of the national war competition simultaneously exceeded 30 billion. Hundreds of millions of people worshipped and joined the alliance, and offered a reward of 100 billion. The live broadcast camera locked the altar, and the national war warmed up the barrage. The Seed Queen's dominance is at the peak. The stability of the 112% reversal. The right arm of the remnant party will be eliminated forever, and the sword master and monster will be forever suppressed. Su Wan's wings of the void 6x speed. Buzzing crazy arc searing pain. 60 seconds of invisibility. Frostblade judgment attack speed 1699% black purple galaxy condensed sword domain chain limit 40 target slowing 99.9999% lock dominates right arm crystal core plus tentacle see entire area. The dominator's red eyes are bulging and the tentacles are whipping wildly with pa. The 30 clones of her sword shadow explode together plus the 3 key master fusion limit. The ultimate evolution of the void sword rain is crash la la. The black and purple gold rainstorm pours 30 consecutive slashes. 800% double dash 10. 000. Ignore all attributes plus 100% penetration 99.99%. 18000000. The right arm's crystal core's weak point of explosion protection -90% is linked to a 30% drop in the blood bar. 25000000. The judgment of sin will rebound with 250% debuff and autophagy, destroying all the sea of tentacles. The right arm of the ruler rumble, cuts off the blood mist and blasts into the sky. The putrid crystal core fragments avalanche, the sea of tentacles collapses and the black hole permanently seals the GM backdoor. The purification is 200%, and the sources of plugins are completely destroyed. The health bar instantly dropped by 30 billion to 38 billion, and the Lord roared, distorted the projection, shattered and screamed forever. The broken crystal cores of both arms exploded. Insect sword domain control 40 ignores everything stability. I will never be defeated. The system's golden, purple and black light exploded into the sky ding. Su Wan cut off the master's arms, and the crystal core exploded and the GM backdoor, the source of the plugin, was purified by 200%. Void Judgment Myth Evolution, all attributes plus 100%. The combat power soared to 25 million. Sword Domain Control 50 slows down 99.99999%. Sword Rain instantly kills 99.999%. 40 consecutive slashes double critical hits 1000%. Dominate rebounds 300%. Stability reversal plus 35% to 147% is amazing. Announcement for the whole server. The Frostblade Queen double-killed the Master to become a god, and the bug crisis was permanently eliminated. A new era of the server has begun. The National War Seed list will always dominate the legends of the whole server. The cumulative value of experience plus 3000% has increased by 500%. The live broadcast of competitive games exceeded 50 billion, and the reputation myth exceeded 1 billion. The World Channel pays homage to the galaxy nuclear explosion. The Queen's double slash blasts the universe. 25 million combat power controls 99.999% in 50 seconds, dominates 38 billion health bars and is defeated forever. All plugins are removed, the stability is 147%, and the myth is overloaded. National War form a team of 100 million and join the alliance and kneel down to worship her forever. A passerby on the public channel was so jealous that his legs went weak and shouted. The value has increased by 500%. The evil queen of swordsmen. Our red gold turret X200 will be the cannon fodder forever. Luo Lizhi's purple eyes burst into tears as she admired the entire fragment of the crystal core. A masterpiece of double slaying. Purple flames are forever locked. Sister Wan's combat power is 25 million and she is invincible in the national war. And her brains are always at the peak of her wits. Lin Yuyan appeared as a ghost, brushing the remains of her arms with her dagger and secretly hugging Su Wan's waist tightly. Steal all the crystal cores. My bestie is so handsome that I can conquer the galaxy. My bugs are purified to 200%. And my data is permanent. And my bestie will always share the dividends. Lu Ting caressed Su Wan's shoulder with his big hand. The lava boiled with passion, and he whispered feverishly, his eyes locking with red lips. The queen is at her peak to become a god. Old man. The subguild's 100 million coalition tanks will always be on top. The resource airdrop will be 500 mythical scrolls plus legendary artifacts x100. And the national war hegemony will be shared forever. The 50 million coalition troops stared in wide eyes and trembled, kneeling in worship, and the tank's health bar was filled with jealousy. The Queen's treasure rainstorm. Void Crystal Essence X50 plus Mythic Amulet X200 plus Legendary Treasure Box X2000 artifact fragments are fully opened. With a combat power of 25 million, the first permanent pressure in the whole server, our permanent resistance plus 150% value has increased sharply. The aftermath of the floating island is completely calm. The magma is completely extinguished, the breeze blows on the face, and the fragrance of flowers looms. The core projection of the altar stabilizes the golden and purple light pulse, and is overloaded by 147%. The victory fruits of the supercomputer airdrop rumble fall like a shower of stars. Mythic Treasure Box passerby players instantly joined the Alliance's 100 million army, and the guild's resources increased tenfold. The Red Gold Fort server bugs, combined with Luo Lizhi's intelligence, Lin Yuyan's intelligence, and Lu Ting's resources, went deep into the cracks to slay the tens of thousands of troops with explosive crystal cores and double-slash the master. She transformed from a genius swordsman to a legend across the server. A new era of bugs was eradicated forever, and the foundation of his hegemony was firmly established. But suddenly the system warned like apocalypse. The national war competition has officially begun. The Secret Force Chaos Empire cross-server invasion. The new boss in the Void Abyss has a health bar of 10 trillion to warm up, and the stability is 147% to challenge the limit. Su Wan, the Queen's War. The suspense of the new era needs to be solved. The red light flashes faintly in the depths of the black hole. The Imperial cavalry booms presses against the situation. A new crisis undercurrents, and the whole server is excited. Players across the server spontaneously watch the frenzy, and the World Channel worship the tsunami. The Frostblade Queen saw 3 waves without collapse. Counter control debuff plus steel weak point plus melting shield. With a combat power of 14 million swords, the National War Competition live broadcast will start at the same time. Billions of people watch the film buy. The reward for joining the Alliance is 50 billion. The live broadcast camera is locked on the altar, and the pre-war barrage exceeds 10 billion. The Seed Queen's dominance is reversed. The stability is 80 billion. And the Juggernaut is a god.